Welcome. My name is 12 Gauge. Welcome to my channel. Some of you have probably been here before. Those of you that have not, welcome. I hope that you find something that you enjoy and something that tickles your mindset. Everything that we discuss here is strictly alleged and at times are educated opinions. So try to be open minded, take what you can and leave the rest. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tonight, I'm going to have a special guest with me, and we're going to talk about the white Elantra. So, I'm just waiting for him to get here. So, I wanted to say hello to everybody. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your kindness and your chats, all that interesting stuff. Today earlier I did a live about a case out of here in Texas on Caleb Harris, and he's still been missing for about 3.5 weeks now. If you get a chance and you live in the area, or even if you don't, um, take a look. Maybe you might find something that you can incorporate into a tip, possibly incorporate into helping the family find their loved one. It must be difficult for anyone to lose a family member, much less in mysterious circumstances, because it's one thing for somebody to not want to be found, but it's another thing for you to just know so much of the story and then it just goes blank. You're left with trying to pick up the pieces, trying to make sense of everything that you've heard, everything that you've seen, everything I believe would look like a clue, would look like evidence. And then you have people talking to you about this, talking to you about that, you know, um, wanting you to do this, wanting you to do that. Your mind would probably be all over the place. So, it'd be rather difficult to have to deal with something like that. And if you've had to deal with something like that, my heart goes out to you, my prayers. And if you've lost a loved one, my prayers and heart go out to you. My guest has made it to the landing block backstage. So without further ado, let's bring up the special guest.
Hey, 12 gauge.
Hey, Jeff, how's it going, man?
Good, good. Wait, I'm still messing with my settings a little bit. Is that, do I still sound okay?
Yeah, you're a little lower now. Not
Oh, let
as
me, oh, you know what? Hold up. How about that? Is that better?
right there, right there. Yeah.
Okay. I got a new little box. It's called Focusrite box. It's pretty cool. I meant to get the 2 channel.
Hmm.
I thought that's what I ordered on Amazon, but I was so excited when it came and I saw it's 1 channel. I was like, that's all right. I'll just keep it.
Hey, it happens, man. It
Gets
happens.
it.
How you been?
Good, good. I didn't even look to see if there's any, if it's how junky it is behind me. Got cat
No,
towers and all kinds of
it's
stuff.
still pretty clean, man.
It's
It's
cool.
pretty
Okay.
clean. Man, I'm feeling a little under the weather these last couple of days. I've had like a pretty bad headache and nasal problems, but I can't just lay around and be stationary. So I did a live earlier on a case out of Texas here. Have you heard about the Caleb Harris?
I looked at that just a little. I saw that. I only had a second. Let me take my headphones off. I only had a second to look at it. I'd never heard of Caleb before. I
Yeah,
was trying to compare to the photos. I guess he had a photo of a guy that was kind of bruised up and stuff laying there.
yeah, that was quite interesting, man. They found that guy laying in front of a store, I think, a convenience store or something, and underneath that, they were talking about it potentially being another missing person.
Hmm.
kind of like in the Raleigh strain case, and that was terrible how that ended up. But
Right.
they found those other bodies while they were looking for Riley. I mean, it's just terrible how looking for one a lot of times you end up finding other things.
Right. Yeah. What you makes you wonder how often it happens where somebody is missing and is out there and wants to be missing. Like
Hmm.
that's actually what they're trying to do is to be missing. I imagine that's kind of rare, but or is it possible? Because like with the Riley thing, I wondered if he hit his head. You know, you can hit your head so hard you don't know who you are for a while
Of
and
course.
don't know what's going on, and you know, people find you. I know someone who she's an older woman, but she got in a car and I think drove like you know had no idea where she was. She just drove and drove and drove for hours. They found her and you know she was okay, but thank God, you know.
Man, it's been an interesting week, a interesting couple weeks. I mean, it's like one missing person after the other. I really haven't been keeping up with the Sebastian case, but I saw earlier some people were posting video that a dog had a hit on a grave or a shallow grave or something like that, or a mound of dirt. I think I
Mhm.
saw it on JLR or something, maybe allegedly innocent, one of those pages.
Yeah, I saw the headline, but I don't know what's. I didn't look into that. Um, yeah, it's weird. I definitely am one of those who I got to be honest. There are certain cases that really just snag me, and I can't stop thinking about them. And then there are others where it's like it takes a while to get started. It's like a car and during the cold or something. It's like it just takes a while to get going. And yeah, that's unfortunately is one of them.
Well, I've done quite a few videos lately. I did one on IDAHO4 the other night where I kind of went back in time and started with a lot of the original stuff that was first put out there, see if I could make sense of anything. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was the white Elantra. And I know that you have a lot of theories and extensive videos on that. I'd like to look at your videos and have you explain those to the audience
Yeah,
because no better for the person who did the video to explain what they were intending in their art form. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, but I did use one of your videos, the one I think where the reporter was doing a I don't know some kind of reporting in front of the house in front of the King Road house. And I
Right.
think you zoomed into the a white Elantra, a white looking car that went one way and then came back the other way. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what your thought process was going into zooming in that and what you actually thought when you saw it.
Yeah, that was I remember. Yeah, it was like a KTVB reporter or something, and I think he was reporting. I think it was the day after. Um,
Do you want to pull that up, Jeff?
yeah, let me pull it up from my channel and
Okay.
see.
Yeah, go ahead and pull that up.
But I think a lot of people were talking about it, and that's the kind of thing. I was I'm sitting in a chat room and I hear people talking about this thing. It's so small you can't see it, and I'm just thinking to myself, I could zoom into it. That
Yeah.
might help. Let's try that. Let's do it and see what we get. Um, I haven't looked at that one in a while. Um,
That one popped up on my page the other day or on my feed, and I was like, hey, I didn't know Jeff did a zoom in.
oh, okay.
I
Yeah, I
remember.
do remember. Actually, my memory's for an old guy. My memory's not bad. It is KTVB.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me
all
know
right.
when you send it.
All right. So I'm going to present, share screen. White car drives by. Share.
Okay.
Okay. Then let me try and resize it so it looks best on your end. I think if I do full screen like that,
Yeah, that's full screen right there.
and then do I? Okay. Yeah, that's a full size it's going to get. All right. So let me hit play here.
Police cars out, and everybody in that house, 6 people live there. They've not believe that there is a
Actually, start from the beginning again. So it drives by twice, one in one direction, one in the other direction.
Okay.
Here's the first pass.
Out, and everybody in that house, 6 people live there. They've
I think I play it
believe that there is
slow-mo too, so I know it's kind of fast.
Yeah.
It's first time here.
Not have to shelter in place.
All these police cars out and everybody
Get the sound really, but. And that's, of course, that's the timestamp for the video. If you go look at the actual video from KTVB, which I think, see, that's my thing. My thing is that I like to present something and then present the original as well, so that people can go check it out for themselves. I mean, don't believe what I say, but like if I remember right, let's see. Wait, how do I shrink it back down? Here we go. Pretty sure. Let's see in the description. Yeah, here you go. So the original video link is here. So if you go to that original video link,
what date that was when it was broadcast?
Yeah, 11/14. So so the murders happened from the night of the 12th going into the 13th, right? So this is actually one day after that.
Are you shitting me?
I guess it's they weren't so they weren't reporting right away. They weren't reporting that very day that it happened. I guess they were, news is fast, but I guess it takes a little bit of time to get the, guys out there. And
so this guy was local, right? It was local news.
Right. Actually, let me see here oh, okay, cool. It tracks. I thought I would have to share a different window, but this is the actual.
Now to North Idaho, where 4 University of Idaho students were found dead in an off-campus house yesterday morning. Today, both the university and police identified the students who were killed. 3 of them are from Idaho. Our Andrew Bartline just arrived on scene a short time ago. So Andrew, tell us what you're seeing and hearing now here live in Moscow.
Well, Doug, we'll start by kind of getting our bearings here. This is the corner of King and Queen in Moscow. Now, if our photojournalist Troy wants to pan for a second in this direction, you can see the water tower. That's kind of where the heart of campus is here at the U of I. So this is just adjacent to it. Now, this is the house where this has happened. It's all blocked off with police tape. We can see there's one Moscow police car over in the corner, kind of near the end of the house there. And there is a Moscow police officer in that car. We've kind of seen him get in and out of his car and float around. But of course, we're not getting a ton of information right now. We do know, as you said, Doug, 4 people dead, all students here at the University of Idaho. It is being investigated as a homicide. This was sort of discovered yesterday around noon when police responded to a call of an unconscious person. When they arrived on scene, they seen that there are 4 students that are dead. There's no suspect at this time. The latest we've heard from Moscow police, they do not believe there's an active threat out to the community either. Now, we have these names and we can release them for you guys right now if we want to throw up a graphic that makes it a little bit easier to digest. It's Ethan Chapin, a 20-year-old from Conway, Washington. Madison Mogan, a 21-year-old from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Xana Kernoodle, a 21-year-old from Avondale, Arizona, but we do know that she originally is from Post Falls, Idaho. And then Kaylee Goncalves, 21-year-old from Rathdrum, Idaho. And we talked with a student who lives right next to this house where this happened. She had no idea that any of this happened the night of. She says that the next day they saw these police cars out and everybody in that house, 6 people live there. They've all since gone home. Her and her last roommate were the last 2 to leave. She says that's the same for all the houses in this block, in and around this area of town. These students are going home early for Thanksgiving break after talking with their parents and deciding that that's how they feel most safe and most comfortable. So a lot of people going home early. There is a vigil scheduled for tomorrow at 5 p.m. We know that is confirmed through the university spokesperson, Kyle Fahnensteel. So we'll be on site for that as well and bring you the latest there in terms of what exactly transpired, what led to this, if it was an act of aggression, if it was violent. Not a lot of details are getting confirmed right now. We're continuing to push to ask for these answers to find out what exactly transpired to lead to these students' deaths. Doug?
And Andrew, we know that they've said that they no longer need to shelter in place, that kind of alert has been lifted in the sense that there's not a threat to the immediate community. But Have you heard anything in your discussions with the police department about a suspect?
No, and I think that's the part that makes this most confusing right now. In terms of information we've been able to get confirmed, the police department does not believe that there is a current ongoing threat. People do not have to shelter in place according to the police, but they also say that they don't exactly have a suspect narrowed down right now. So it is a little bit of confusing or seemingly conflicting information, trying to push to make sense of it all, to try to get these dots to connect, because there's a lot of rumors going around about what may or may not have happened, and getting these dots to fit together, looking to get confirmed information so we know how they fit together, Doug.
Yeah, Andrew, that is completely understandable. All right, thank you. Live from the scene there in Moscow. We'll see you tonight on the news at 6. Now to North.
So does he say what time at the beginning of the clip? I'm trying to figure out what time this clip was.
Now to North Idaho, where 4 University of Idaho students were found dead in an off-campus house yesterday morning. Today, both the university and police.
Well, but then he says we'll talk to you tonight at 6. So this is sometime on the 14th, before, probably a few hours before 6 o'clock.
Well, let me ask you a question really quick before we move on, and I forget. That road behind the house, that's Walenta, right? That's the road that we talked about.
Right. That's the hill going up Walenta. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, when you were looking at that and you were slowing it down, can you kind of estimate how long it took the car to go one way and then come back another? Was it minutes? Was it?
Good point. Yeah.
Seconds? Did he? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here, Jeff. I'm really not.
Yeah, no, you got to check it out.
But what if he did take a U-turn in that driveway that time? You know what I mean? It's very possible.
So it's well, at least the first pass, at least on the time code from that newscast right there, is 1:49:26. Wait, let me actually go to where we see it. Yeah. Okay. So let's call it 1:51:02.
Okay.
Wait, is that right? Oh, this is a different speed. Wait, let me not get my times mixed up. So first pass. Yeah, around 1:50.
Okay, 1:50.
Wait, let me get an exact time where we see it. Boom, right there. 1:50. Well, let's call it 1:51, just to make the math easier.
Okay.
Here comes the second pass. There you go. 3:01. That makes it very easy. Well, for some, 3:01 to 1:51. That's 10,
okay.
Right?
50 and 150. Then
Is it 10? I think it's 10.
10 minutes.
Because if it was 50, it would be 3. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that
would be the simplest math that slows me down.
Make sense. I mean, if he went all the way down Walenta and turned around, because I think we estimated that night that we were all talking. I think we estimated that.
Now, wait a minute, though. Is he going the right way or the wrong way? Wrong direction at the wrong time?
Well, right
now, the time he
means
to be where he is? I'm sorry. I'm not going down that again.
No, please, no. But didn't we estimate that Walenta is about a 5-minute drive from one end to one end, from that stop sign to the very end where you turn off and come back up Indian Hills?
You wanna look? Let's see. Let me bring up probably easier with Google Maps, I think. At least I'm a little more proficient with measuring time and how long it takes to get.
You guys that are watching, I'm still not 100%. I'm still kind of medicine head. So if I'm talking a little slow or even a little slow, please forgive me. But I wanted to get on with Jeff while we had a chance.
Medicine head.
Wow.
Let's see, satellite.
If I start seeing colors and everything floating across the screen, and I start freaking out over here, call 911.
Shoot, I'm seeing colors now. I know why I'm seeing colors.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah, you know why it's all weird color like that? I got it set to night mode.
I figured out how to do that on my end too.
Yeah, it's kind of nice so you don't have your own computer screen is lighting your face too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I should do it with the StreamYard screen. Boom, there we go. A little less light. No, that's gonna mess that up too. Okay, never mind. Just deal with that light. All right, so here we're looking at it. So you were asking.
Yeah. Can you see where my pointer is? There's a stop sign right here.
Wow. No, it's not going to show your pointer, unfortunately. I don't think.
Okay, the stop sign goes. I mean, right outside you go.
Oh yeah, I see your pointer now. It's there.
Okay, right here's the stop sign. I'm wondering how far the distance is from there all the way to the end of Walenta on the other end, heading.
Your pointer disappeared. Do it again. Move it slowly. I saw it for a second.
Can you see it now?
No. Am I losing my vision or what?
Okay, it's over the King Road house right now. Can you see it?
No. Let me see if
maybe that was your pointer.
Oh, you know what? Duh. Wait, who's got medicine head? You or me?
Okay,
yeah, so my own. So you're talking about the stop sign like here?
Go ahead and go down Walenta all the way from the King Road house. Go to Taylor, make a left, and go all the way up. Yes, keep going up. Okay. And right there's a stop sign. And you'll make a left. And from that stop sign all the way to the end of Walenta, can you kind of gauge how far that is?
Okay, yeah, let's see. To the end of Walenta, like all the way down to here to Paradise?
Yes.
Okay.
Would that be about a 5 minute drive, maybe?
I think so. Wait, maybe I'm actually more proficient with Google Earth. How do I yeah, because I can put a marker. Hold on, let's try. Let me try Google Earth.
Stay away from the.
Sorry about that. I should be.
Hey,
I go back and forth between them.
Hey, stay away from the cul-de-sac.
I know.
We don't want to lose any people in chat tonight.
I know what you're talking about.
Sabrina, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. We're talking IDAHO4 tonight. We're talking about the white Elantra. We're digging into some areas that we haven't discussed. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, wait, I got multiple windows open. Hold on. Let me close that one. Get back to StreamYard. I was just trying to click those where I see comments. I forgot to keep the comments open here. All right. So sorry about you got a whole bunch of markers and stuff on here. Let me, wait, I can hide the majority of them here. So I've got a bunch of categories with all these markers. I got the mobile gas station over on Troy Road, Corner Club, Coeur d'Alene, Wrecked Elantra in Oregon. All kinds of
quite efficient.
All kinds of stuff. Let's see. But now we were going to measure from. Wait, let me put north as north. Okay. So Walenta, it's like Walenta and Paradise.
Yes, right there.
Well, I think can I do it this way? Or this just measures no wait, we want to do.
Well, it looks like you already have a marker at that stop sign.
Oh, that's right. There was this guy. Yeah, there was this guy on Google Earth that was, we were discussing like who is this guy walking there? I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure when that photograph was taken. Is that current? No, that's I think a photo I just took at the time. So.
Okay.
Oh, but I can still get to it from here.
Well, my point in this whole discussion right here if you guys are lost, is I wanted to see how far it is
There he is.
from Malenta, right there where that stop sign is.
He's got
In the
sandals.
beginning, people were saying that was Brian. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
people-
in the beginning, even
Yeah.
now, everything is suspect. This trash can could be involved in the crime for all we know.
Yeah, they were saying that was Brian at the very beginning. Oh my God, they got Brian on Google.
Right.
But my point, getting back to the point, is from that stop sign all the way to Paradise Hills.
So what you're trying to imagine is him coming up here, doing a U-turn and going back down.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
but no, you were talking about Paradise though, going all the way down to.
I mean, we figured, what did we say, 10 minutes? So if that road is 5 minutes long one way,
I got you. I got you.
by the time coming back, it would have almost been at 9.5 minutes passing the house.
So wait, can I do that? And then also do, well, then just take the house, or, it's the pressure of doing it live too. It's like,
Of course. Of course.
oh, look at this. Now I'm moving. Wait, what did I move? Oh, dang. I think is there an undo? I think I moved the, which one is that? I'm sorry, people. Because that says circular driveway.
I heard today from another, I don't know, listened to another stream, and they were talking about parents living behind the 1122 King Road house, and that they sold their home. I don't know how true that is. It was a different creator than I've ever heard before.
You're talking about this Emma Bailey's house right here?
Yeah, that was right behind the 1122 King Road house.
Yeah, it's kind of behind. I mean, it's a bit of a, you got to walk down a path.
I thought that was the house that had the turnaround that we were talking about that night. I thought that
No,
was
that's this one right here with the
okay.
the circular driveway.
So that's the one with the camera.
Yeah, we were speculating that they had a camera there because we think that's what they're talking about because they mentioned Ridge Road, and like Ridge Road is very short.
Yes, exactly.
And there's no other Ridge Road, right? It's not. It's
No.
only. Okay, it's just that little
Be
piece.
careful. Be careful. Stay above the way.
Why am I drawing a blank here? I just need. I'm going. I just want to do like driving directions from this point to that point. I know how to do it in Google Maps if I have.
But let me just use your analytical mind, Jeff. Do you
measure
just based on time frame? And we just saw that car take about 10 minutes to come back. There you go.
What about?
I don't know what you did, but
well, I can measure it as a straight line. It's looks like, what is it? 0.3 or 0.3 miles direct shot.
Okay. So this is the winding road. So let's kind of go up a little bit, which would.
But I mean, can I do? I can do this.
Yeah, there you go.
Now it would be nice if I could figure out the time, though.
So how much?
I'll tell you what, next time I'm on here, I will know how to do that. Oh wait, we were only wanting to measure up to here, right, to where it's seen again.
Just to the stop sign.
Oh man, sorry. I thought I could just undo the last one. Oh, what about path or polygon? Is that?
Sabrina, one day we're going to have hundreds of thousands of people in this chat, and you're going to be with the luxury of being the first one ever.
Yeah, you got front row seat.
Yes, you have the best seat in the house right now.
Okay, so it should be like to right about here. All right. Now, if I hit escape, do they disappear? Jeez.
I love it.
Um,
So do you remember the last number that was there? Was it 3-4? 0.34 miles?
hold on. There's got to be a way to. That's measuring distance, but we want to measure time as well. No, wait. Okay. Wait. Hold on. This is giving me the coordinates. See if I can. I'll just open it up in Google Maps in another window that you guys can't see, but I can see it because then I can just plot in the. Let me copy this. Wait, which marker is this though? Is that this one?
Dang, we've already been on 30 minutes. Jesus.
Yeah, I've talked about crap and we've been on here 30 minutes.
Sabrina's like, get to the meat and potatoes, bro.
Let's see. Okay, this is definitely that marker. Okay, it's all right. Now, where did the coordinates go? I just have to do that. There we go. So from there, I'm going over to Google Maps. Search Google Maps. Boom. Okay, directions, and then I'm going to look at. So we want another marker, like say right here. There we go. Wait, come on. I unclicked. Oh, I got to close this, then click it. Then I get the coordinates. Copy, paste, and it says 9 minutes. Interesting. And
Go
it was
12 gauge.
Go
12 gauge.
Yeah, let me show you. I can share the other screen, and you'll see the map.
I promise I didn't do that on my own behind the scenes and cheated. Okay, 9 minutes exactly.
How you like that?
So we saw it what at 1 minute.
Wait, hold on. That's 9 minutes walking.
Oh,
that's different. 2 minutes. Way to go, 12 gauge. Way to go. You're way off.
Oh man. Okay, so
maybe you got out of the car, walked, and then walked back.
So 2 minutes. So I don't know. Maybe he drove in front again, turned around, and then drove back that way. I don't know.
You know, I mean,
it's a good concept.
Let me go back to the car with the reporter. Let me get rid of some of these windows so I don't confuse myself. Okay, white car drives by. There we go. All right. So I mean, with this one, to be honest with you, when we were first looking at this back then, I mean, we were mainly just checking out that car to try and see like the, that little spot on the lower part of the back window, to see if it had the same kind of smooth curve. Oh wait, let me do frame by frame.
As many times as I've looked at an Elantra, they all look the same to me. Like, you see that little. See, it looks from a distance like it doesn't have that point on the back window. You know how you always talk about that little point,
right?
Back door on the back window. See, as it goes by, it doesn't look like it does, but it very well could have it.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, as with the quality and the video compression. As it's in motion here, it's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of almost is like it's changing shape. Not that it really is, but it's sometimes it looks like it's more pointy, but then like you get to here, it looks like it's different. What about the other? Which pass is that? That's the second pass. What about the first? Okay, here's the first pass.
Damn, if they would have chopped down those damn trees, we could have seen it perfect.
Yep. We're at the mercy of the trees.
Maybe if I'd be looking at the 3-time magnification instead of the 2-time magnification, I could see something, right?
Right. Yes. Well, we got to cover because I was looking at 3 times. You're looking at 2.
Yeah, it looks like it on that one. It looks like it does have the little. But do you see how the back is straight? It looks like it just levels off straight, like a.
Yeah. See there, it's got a bit of that curve upward. It's really hard to tell. And I mean, this is like on the 14th. This is the day after. I mean, it's still possible, maybe. But the thing is, I guess I'm sure that this is as many people on YouTube were talking about this reporter doing this report in this car in the background. I'm sure they've looked into it and compared it to any like location information they have on Koberger and to see if there was any chance he was here. I would be very interested to know if it seemed like there's information showing that he was around the area a lot. The murders happened, and then he wasn't anywhere near this. Like you don't see anything,
I mean, that would be suspicious, but I mean, it really wouldn't. Here's the big word. It wouldn't be nefarious,
Right. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with. I see. There's nothing wrong with driving around. There's nothing wrong with the alibi. I like to drive around at night.
But
now, if I'm insistent to you, 12 gauge, that I like to drive around at night. I like to drive around at night, and then you come to me and say, "But Jeff, okay, I know you like to drive around at night, but what's the deal with stopping for like 14 minutes in this dead end neighborhood after driving through it, 4 times before stopping, 5 times total, if that's the case." Sus to us is Drip Drop might say, right?
Yeah, that's sus to us. But on this video that you have, it's very clear that it is a white vehicle. It looks like the windows are tinted. I mean, I'm no expert, but they look tinted to me. It looks like it's creeping. It doesn't look like it's flying by there.
Well, let's see at the real speed. Let's see what I'd probably watch just the non-magnified in the upper left just to get the sense of like the speed.
What would you say, 25, 30 miles an hour?
Yeah, probably so.
It's not flying by. Seeing it kind of slowed down right there at that curve.
And it's kind of going, same, looks like about roughly the same speed and downhill as well.
But like you said, it'd be interesting if one of the pings on that day shows him in the area, other than the one at 9:30 in the morning. Was this the 9:30 in the morning though?
Yeah, I wonder if
Hey, remember they had the ping at 9:30 in the morning of him driving by the house.
That would have been on the 14th.
So that would have been the 13th.
This is the day after that.
Okay, this is the day after. Okay, right. So they would have had another ping of him driving by the house if he would have kept his phone on, or if it's. I mean, that's going to be another pattern too. How many times did he leave Pullman and turn his phone off? Right.
Wait, I keep getting confused. Now, wait. The murders happened the night of the 12th, going into the 13th. So, and they occurred. They believe they occurred around 4 a.m. ish on the 13th, right? Yeah, November 13th.
And then they called the police at noon.
This is a full 24 hours after all that.
This is the next morning.
This is the November 14th.
But still, they're not reporting a lot of information. I mean, he's just standing, look at all that trash in the front yard. Look at all that. I mean, that is as close to the time frame of the actual crime happening than I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Because it looks. I wonder if what I thought? I wonder if the bodies are still in there.
Yeah, good point. Because a lot of people talk about, they know.
I mean,
I wouldn't want to see them taking them out, but a lot of people have pointed out that I don't know of anybody that has seen them taking them out. I'm sure that they figured out a way to remove the body so that no cameras would be seeing that. That's kind of gruesome. And yeah, I don't know how long that, because at first I was thinking, is it possible? Did they take them out? I mean, I was trying to figure out how soon they had that vigil and stuff. It's like all the news crews would have been at the vigil. The whole town's probably at the vigil. Maybe that was a time but they wouldn't have left them in that house that long. I don't think.
I don't think so either. But the coroner didn't get there until almost 5 o'clock on the 13th. So them bodies had been in there 12 hours. And granted, it was cold weather, but they were still in that house. And no telling what time they loaded them up and got them out. Maybe it was in the middle of the night.
It's curious to see that. I'm trying to figure out if I saw a picture of like an investigative picture. I think they had a marker, but it was a piece of paper that looked about that size. Now maybe it's that same piece of paper but they took it and folded it around the other way, because it looked like there was some writing or something on the white portion.
Yeah, I remember seeing that as well.
And you can see that it looks like that very card is right down here on the ground. See, just to the if you're looking at him, just to the right of him, right by his left arm, it looks like that's it right there on the ground.
Yeah. So what would be the significance of that? Just the Idaho symbol?
Yeah, it's some kind of card with an Idaho symbol on it, but I don't know. Let me take a look.
There's a rock on there, like it's holding it down.
Let me just do a search and see. See if I had my stuff a little better organized, I could go right to that, because I'm sure I have the actual image.
I remember what you're talking about. It's a white piece of paper with some writing on it. And it's over there kind of by the Jeeps, right? It's on that side of the street.
Yeah, part of my problem is that I save like everything that I see. And then I'm reluctant to change the file name of it, because the file name sometimes will point you back when you're doing a Google search to where you found it.
Right.
Like if you download something, you change the name of it, and then you're just like, well, what website did you pull that from? It's like, oh, I don't know. I've broken the link because I changed the name of it.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and move on from this, and let's get to another part of it. Can you pull up that one right there? Go.
Which one?
That one. No, go to the left or to the right. Fourth one.
This one?
Yes. Have we talked about this one already?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at this one in a while. But yeah, this was just
okay, that's a 2011. That's what they're looking for, right? 2011 to 2013. They really don't change that much in body style. 2014. See, to me, they look all the same. Other than they start to get long.
Yeah.
See the vehicle at the top, the Exxon photo? That to me looks like the vehicle that we were just looking at.
Yeah.
That looks more like the vehicle than that Elantra right there. Because look at the back, how little
right here.
Yeah, how little the back is, like the trunk area. That looks more like the car that we were just looking at.
Right. It's almost the Prius has a window similar to that. Oh, maybe let me just search my hard drive for Prius. I think I might have done a side-by-side of a Prius and a Elantra. Yeah, I did.
But maybe I'm just clueless. Maybe the tinted windows are throwing it off a little bit. I mean, maybe the tinted, because even the lights look different on the one from the Exxon. See, they look kind of, see how these are kind of bubbled? The ones from the Exxon look kind of, they look elongated and out more.
Yeah, let me share this one instead. This is tell me, I think this Prius looks very much like that car we were just looking at.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, it's got that.
Yes. See, that looks more like the car. Can you color it white? With some tinted windows on it.
Did you ever see the Pulp Fiction little thing I mocked up? What did I call that? Oh yeah.
So does that look like that car that we just saw on the Exxon surveillance tape to you?
Wait, I have to show this just because I'm somewhat proud of the Photoshop work that I did here. With there you go. And I'm a huge fan of Pulp Fiction, but I think this of course came up when we were all discussing like the cleaning of the car, and that instantly made me think of Pulp Fiction.
Exactly. Wow.
But yeah, look at that. I think I even went to the detail of adding the W on the window for WSU.
I see that.
And the car itself, I think in Pulp Fiction is a different color. It's not white. So
really?
Yeah, it's a.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
that was kind of fun.
You know what they call a quarter pounder?
A Royale with cheese. Yeah, that movie is it's amazing dialogue. Just the conversation is you just that it hooks me. There was a friend of mine, another guy named Jeff, actually, and we have conversations. We can just have a conversation with using nothing but Pulp Fiction quotes and just keep the conversation going. And
that's pretty cool.
Let's look on Carvana too.
Because that Prius looked a lot more like the car that is shown in the Exxon video. Like I said, the lights are bubbled out. The Elantra looks like it's just one solid light. The Prius has like three, it looked like, in a row, and they're bubbled out. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm no car guy. I'm no car expert.
Yeah, like here's a comparison of at least the Elantra with the gas station photo. And I mean, it does look like a little bit harder cut right here in the.
I mean, the window looks deeper. The window cut looks deeper than the Elantra in that picture. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, look at this window cut from the.
You're talking about the.
Yeah.
See, this is a very smooth flowing.
Yes. This one has more door. I understand it's an angle shot. I understand that, but it wouldn't take off that much.
But some of the
lights look more forward. I mean, it's just hard to explain. The lights look different. The cuts on the fog lights, on the one on the top, doesn't look like they have very many. Like it's not as deep. This one looks deeper. What year is this Elantra?
I think that's a 2015.
Well, this would be Koberger's Elantra.
Yeah, that's the year. Yeah, I labeled the file white Elantra gas station photo.
Would you take over for a minute? I'm going to take some medicine. Take over for a minute. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try and pull up the Elantra from Carvana. Actually, I don't think I'm going to be able to switch it over to show you yet, but regarding this photo that we are looking at, yeah, I mean, the things I notice are definitely seems to be a sharper cut. Also, too, I think like with the Ford Fusion, I think like if you look at the bottom edge of the window, it's almost a straight line and then a cut. But I'm leaning with that car, kind of leaning more towards Prius. Because with the Elantra, as you can see down here, it is kind of a straight line, but then it has a flowing curve upward, which that's the unique thing about Elantras. The only other car that I've seen have this same flowing curve upward to the rear point is a Tesla. But the thing about the Tesla is the distance between the top middle and bottom middle on a Tesla is very tall. It's as if they designed the Tesla for very tall people. So that's when I'm driving along the road, I'm constantly looking at cars for the things like that. And yeah, the Tesla and the Elantra are the only two that I see that have this flowing smooth curve to the back point. And then the Elantra, with the Elantra trying to figure out wait, let me pull up Carvana, because it's actually, I think it was Sergeant Friday who was on a long phone call with him, and he kind of helped me understand how to tell the difference between the 2011 to 2013 versus the 14 to 16. Here, let me see if I can pull this.
Yeah, this is your portion. You go with it, because I mean, to me, a car looks one way, but it could be a totally different car. I mean, I'm not ignorant to the fact that I know differences between car styles, but I'm not very mindful. I see more white Elantras now than I've ever seen in my lifetime, I guess because I'm looking for them. Sabrina says, yes, they look like two different cars. That's her opinion.
Yeah, so the thing, like these, I call them like boomerang shaped lights at the front, bottom corners. Those are like distinct between 11 to 13, and then 14 to 16. So those two points you can really kind of tell, which I think it makes it difficult for the FBI analyst who was trying to figure out what year it was, because I mean, with the lights on and that dark video, it can be really hard to tell. The two front points that give it away as to what year it is can be very obscured, very hard to see. Also with the back, these two little red lights, that's the distinguishing detail on the back of the car. On 2014 to 16, these two little red markers are spread way apart. They're all the way at the far edge. Wait, let me see, like a 2013. Let me find a white one just so that it's might not be able to do that. Might have to go with what they have. Oh, do they even have one? Oh, here's one. It's in black, but so don't get confused. We're still looking at the same model car, but see how these little marker lights are. They're lower, and they're also more towards the middle of the car.
Man, I almost wish it would have been a black or a blue or a red Elantra. I mean, any damn color but white.
Yeah.
But Jeff, you see how go back there for a second. Pull that one up again.
Uh-huh.
And go look at it from the front. You see those lights, how long they look right there? The other lights on the other Elantra did not look that long.
Yeah. Now, can I open up another? window. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. Okay, let's do it this way. So let's bring up the 2015 Elantra.
See, because I had a Mitsubishi Eclipse with those bubble lights like that, and that's what that car looked like on that Exxon video. It looked like bubble lights. See, like there, you can see the turn signal area and everything, but it's not as bubbled.
Let me search a 2011 Elantra. Oops. Come on, no white ones.
All the college kids have bought them out. They're going to be collector's editions.
All right, so the 11, you can definitely see the difference.
Oh yeah,
in those front lower lights to the 2015.
But look at the headlights. You see how different they are? They're not that much different, but they're still different. They're kind of rounded on the 15, and on the 11 they're just go back. You see how?
Let me see if I can find one that an 11 that I can actually zoom in and move around on. Of course, they give me the 2013. Here's a 12. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure the difference between like the SE, the GLS. So hopefully I'm not doing any comparisons that are throwing off our understanding because of that.
No shit. Did he have a luxury edition Elantra? No, that's never even been said.
Well, I know the one thing you can tell, I don't know if like the infotainment package in the dashboard comes with like one of these other models, but actually, well, we could tell. No, see, this doesn't have like the GPS screen or anything, because I know his didn't have GPS, so maybe it's an SE. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows more than I do, but then with that, I'm not sure. But like, let's position them in a similar fashion. If you just compare,
I'm gonna pull up the body cam video.
Okay.
That way we can kind of see the back of the car as he's walking up.
Gotcha. Oh, where he's pulled over, talking about crosswalks, or where he's in Indiana and
he's in Indiana. Here, let me show this right quick.
Okay.
So what were we saying about the lights? These, see how far they are? This is covered with car.
Yeah, that's an indication of a 2014 to 16.
Okay, the lights are further out. And that black one that you showed, they were further in.
Well, you can see it here on this. If you want to switch over, or you got switching back and forth between what you got and what I'm showing here. You can see how this is.
Which one is that?
This is a 12. So this is right in the middle of the 11 to 13.
Okay, range. So look at that little ridge right there above those little tail lights, and see if it's on his. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, so you can see those little marker lights on his are much further out.
But I want to see if there's a ridge. Oh, come on. Hold on a second. It won't let me go. Okay. I don't really see a ridge. Well, there is a little bit.
You can kind of see it. If you switch back, you can kind of see it on this Carvana.
Dirty ass car.
They still maintain. Is what?
Dirty ass car.
Yeah.
But yeah, his lights are further, but I don't see a ridge like the one you're showing. I'll switch back to that. But the one that you just pulled up, there's a ridge right here, a deep ridge.
Yeah, this one I got pulled up right now is a 2015. So this one should be matching to Koberger's vehicle. Although I don't know if his had this black area under the bumper.
How the hell did I get out of this damn? I don't see.
Are you looking for StreamYard?
Well, I guess I've I've enhanced it so far. I don't have any toolbars. I'm scared to put it to push escape. I don't want to shut everything. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me get out of this damn page. Okay. Let's go back to yours.
Let's see. Yeah, so see, this is a 15. So it's got that little bit of a ridge, that connects the two lights. Can I even zoom in further?
Can you go inside? We've seen what the inside of his car looked like.
Yeah.
I'm sure his did too, Jeff. It was just so freaking dirty, man. Yeah, that looks identical to the inside of his.
Yeah, and there's can't really see it on here, I don't think, but like right in this area, you can see that's where there's a cigarette lighter type plug that his dad had the phone plugged into. When it looks like it wasn't just it looked like it was one of those plugs you plug into a cigarette lighter and then it splits into like 2 or 3 places to plug your phone in.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I don't know what kind of seats he had. If he had cloth, I imagine cloth would be harder to clean than anything else. But to be honest with you, I really think when he got into this car, he had put this is just a theory, just my theory, but that he had put everything in the trunk that was bloody, and now he's getting in the car, for the most part naked, which ironically there was reports of Bethany seeing a naked man, right? Don't know if that's true or not, but that could be, who knows, could be the same, could be the explanation. But I would imagine if he got into this car for the most part naked and he took everything off, put it into something in the trunk, that maybe he's got some of the red stuff on his face, maybe. But I believe it's possible. I mean, I've videotaped surgeons they did a carotid artery surgery on this older guy. They cut his carotid artery open, split it open, scraped the fat off of it, sewed him back up. And then I got shots of the surgeons, like, taking their gloves off. They got a methodical way to take the gloves off, take the everything that's got blood on it. And then they go down and they have lunch in the cafeteria, just minutes after. So,
right.
So if that's in theory is possible to get into this car for the most part naked, and maybe, who knows, how do you know on this other seat you've got a change of clothes ready to go and you just got to go down the road just a little ways, find a place to get dressed, and if there's a little something on your face, just don't touch your face. You look in the mirror and see it.
Hey Jeff, go back and, like, you're getting into the vehicle on the driver's side, go up a little bit. Okay. You see that little lip when you get into your car? Most of us touch that little lip as we're getting in, like right above the right. Keep going up, 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 up to the right. That little lip right there.
Right here.
There's a lot of us that touch that little area when we're getting in the vehicle. Because I've noticed.
What do you touch it for good luck, or why do you do that? It's weird, man.
No, like as you're getting in. I mean, as you're getting in, I don't know what it is. If it's unconscious, you just because I've noticed in a lot of people's cars that little area, it has kind of wear and tear, and it might have a little grayish area from just being touched so much. I guess some people, they put their hand there to steady themselves as they're getting in. I mean, I'm not saying I do it. I drive a truck, so I sure as hell don't, do that. But in a vehicle, in a car, I've noticed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen cigarette burns there. I've seen all kinds of stuff. How I've even seen blood in that area. I don't know how that got there, but it is possible to wipe, your body against that area if you're getting in fairly quickly. Maybe you rub your head across it, whatever. I don't know. Hey, it's medicine kicking in. Give me some slack. Hey, did y'all go to sleep, chat? What are y'all doing over there? There hasn't been an entry in a while. 10:34 was the last one. Did y'all go to sleep on us?
I'm thinking we've got him speechless. Is that what it is? But let's see, what is
And you're right, there's a little charger area. I just looked it up. The dad has a little charger right there.
camera?
I'll pull it up right quick. Let me show you. See that little area you were talking about?
Right, yeah.
You know, I was listening because I haven't really been watching, but I was listening to a stream earlier, and the guy was talking about how Koberger's knuckles look broken right here, and somebody even said there was some blood right here along his arm, how his knuckles look broken and busted.
Right. Do you you know, I can we could pull that video up. You want me to pull it up and we go like frame by frame on some certain areas that I think reveal. What was that video called?
It's the Indiana traffic.
Did you have the YouTube? Were you just looking at the YouTube one?
Hold on a second.
Or
no, just looking at the images. Let me see the videos. It's called Idaho student murder. Suspect Brian Koberger stopped in Law and Crime Network, January 3rd, 2023.
Okay.
I'll let you do that because, I mean, I'm not in any shape to really stop and start. Did you find it?
Dang it. Pull it back up again. Let me just type the whole name. I should know right where this is. I kind of know where it is in my editing project, but
Law and Crime, Indiana. It's called Idaho Student Murders. Suspect Brian Koberger stopped in Indiana. Law and Crime Network.
wait,
Yeah, choose whichever.
Full videos, traffic stops. This one is, although that one's what do you call it? Portrait mode. Oops. Dang it, it's going full screen on my whole screen. I don't want to. Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't need to see StreamYard. I can just go full screen.
Did it go back?
So this is the one. A lot of people were saying that they thought this was like a scar. But the thing is, this is like 12/15. This is, you know, a month and 2 days after the murders. I mean, it seems like, you know, if that was a scar, it would heal for one. But also, I'm missing it. I think this is okay. This is only the one. This officer, unfortunately, gets no reward and gets no award for being the best camera person to get great shots.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you're the worst cameraman on paper.
Now, granted, if there was some revolutionary or some very important piece of evidence that's on that door handle, boom, he would have gotten it. But yeah, he pretty much just shows his shoes the whole time. Well, here's a good shot of that. We could look at the car going down the road to get a sense.
That car is dirty as hell.
Yeah, they kind of went. They went, you know, way south through Colorado, and probably, maybe, I don't know if that's hitting some snow.
But look right there. Pause it right there.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that car from the side. Does that trunk area look like it just flattens out to you? I mean, because that's a good angle. Does it look like it flattens out to you? Does it look bubbled?
You're talking about down here, or?
Yes, the trunk area. Does it look like it just goes and flattens like the car that we saw in the Exxon video? or did it look bubbled out? Like,
Oh, are you talking about the window, the cut in the back window?
no. You know how we were just talking about the Prius, how it kind of flattened out in the back with the taillights? Does that look like it just stops and flattens out like the Prius? Or can you tell that? I'm referring to the car that we looked at the very beginning, the car that you were in slow motion, how the back of it looked flatter as it was going by.
But you're not referring to the side window though.
No, I'm referring to the back of the vehicle.
Flatter. Oh, and then it was kind of because one thing I noticed about the Prius is that it seems shorter. It's almost like somebody
Yeah.
took and shoved their hand into it and squished the back. It's like, oh, that's better. I want a design like that.
Yes,
You know, with this,
exactly.
yeah.
So right there, does that look like that same vehicle to you? I mean, I'm not trying to debunk anything.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
trying to ask your opinion on it.
It's really hard to tell. I couldn't tell you what that vehicle we saw with on the KTVB
Yeah.
report what that really is. I can tell you one thing: this is an Elantra.
Yeah.
For sure.
But they got him for tailgating right there. What is their interpretation of tailgating? He is more than 2 seconds behind that semi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know that we can say he's pulling him over for what we're seeing on the camera right now. Could have been
True.
earlier, you know.
True.
Because I don't see anything that looks like worthy to be pulled over. But I imagine he's come up to him after seeing him do something, and now is being pulled over for it. Although I don't know if it's an officer's if it's customary for an officer to start the video camera during what you see as the offense you're pulling them over for. Of course, too, this, for all we know, we don't have
that looks like
we're missing part of this, the front part
like
of it.
the dash cam though, right there. Because I drive a Tahoe with a camera right there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looks like. That's the dash cam.
Yeah, this is the car.
He would start that, and that's what you'd see is the vehicle in front of you like that.
Right. Interesting too. I think I marked the exact spot of this on my Google Maps, but that little sign right there is kind of help you find the exact location. So it's Henry County. I guess you're entering. Did you ever see that movie Fargo?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, well, in that movie Fargo, I mean the two guys that are the killers, they have a kidnapped woman in the trunk, I believe, or in the back seat. It's actually in the back seat. And the cop leans his head into the driver's side door, and the passenger, pulls a gun out of the glove compartment and, takes the officer out. But that movie, I thought about that movie when we were trying to figure out, a lot of people are talking about, like, did these cops know what they were possibly dealing with, that this was a potential suspect. And if anybody's seen the movie Fargo, just that fact alone, it makes me think these cops were not aware that this is,
yes, exactly.
This is a potential suspect. You just wouldn't put your face right in there.
That's what I was going to ask you next, Jeff. Did you see anything? I mean, you can't hear a lot of the conversation with the dad and Koberger, but did you notice any nonverbals from either one of them that seemed a little nervous? I mean, did you notice anything?
Let me see if I find the other. It's the other one where you see them longer. Why am I only finding the ones that are the short ones?
I don't know. I'm putting you on the spot right now.
I know. And I keep telling myself I'm going to get organized with all my clips.
There it is. Go up.
No, I think this is still. Yeah, this is still the one where you see his feet. I think there was one that showed both. Hold on, let me just search my hard drive for files. I should be able to. If I search Indiana, I'm sure I can find it. Raw video.
Why would you stick your whole head in there? I know you can't hear very well. I understand that. But for safety reasons?
All right, here we go. If I should be able to search for these words, and it should go right to it.
Sabrina,
See, this is why I don't change the names of my files, because my MP4 file is called Raw Video Idaho Murder Suspect.
yeah, why are you wearing a body cam and all you see is shoes at the bottom of the car? Good question.
Yeah, they should put the cameras on their heads.
Like a GoPro?
Yeah, yeah. So regarding that thing that looked like a scar on his wrist, I think okay, like right there. This was one of the spots that I was kind of looking at to see. See, this is one of the things that definitely makes me feel what we were looking at before was nothing more than a shadow, because his hand's no longer in the sun, but you can see, kind of still see that bone there. You know, I don't see any scar. Looks like skin. Now, granted, some people might say the sleeve looks like it's pulled up just a little bit more, but you know.
But also he was boxing.
Yeah.
He could have broken his hands numerous times.
Well, you're talking about the knuckles, though. Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah,
knuckles are a different thing. Yeah, that could. I mean, yeah, it does look like it could have a bit swollen knuckles, but that scar on the side of his wrist, I don't see any indication.
I don't see a scar. Where would it be about, Jeff?
And also, too, if you've got a scar on your wrist that is from something as awful as what we think it could have been, are you really going to hold it up for the officer to see like that? And then watch how he hands the driver's license. You know, this is the hand with a scar. You're really going to just freely hand it over? Now, I did start to get a little suspicious, though. If you watch how he takes it back, he doesn't take it back with the right hand. He takes it back with the left hand, I think.
That's what I was just going to ask you. Is he hiding the left hand? See, I think it's weird because the dad is all mouthy. Where are you guys headed? He said, oh, we're going to go get some Thai food. He's giving as little information as possible. The dad talking about, we've been to WSU, there's been a shooting, blah, blah, blah. Dad is just spilling the whole tea, you know?
Yeah. It's this kind of thing. It's really a little hard to judge because, you know, everybody is a little nervous when a cop pulls you over.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. But Koberger just has those eyes, man. They look like, God, Almighty. They look so serious. Like, he doesn't smile.
Oh, this is where it's starting over. I think this is a shortened clip, too, because he didn't get the license back.
Well, we get the gist of it, I guess. I don't know. Do you want to look for it some more, or you want to move on?
Let me just look one more time for, because
okay.
I know I've edited with it, so I know I've got the clip. Oh wait, let me sift by just movies.
But my whole thing is this: while you're looking for that, I'll entertain the crowd.
Okay.
My thing is, after supposedly he committed these crimes, he went back to teaching. If his hands were busted up and his knuckles and everything were really broken or whatever, how could you stand in front of a class of students with broken hands, cut up hands, and not at least flinch whenever you were hurting? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense how, you know, he went and got a haircut. He went to the doctor. I'm kind of curious to
kind of carried on normal.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what they saw, what they observed. You know, they're going to be on the witness stand.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, surely they've got to be one of the 400 witnesses, right?
Look right there above the doorknob. Doesn't that look like a dent, or is that a shadow?
Above the doorknob?
You see where The door
Like,
handle is? Go
down,
to
down
the
here at
right.
the bottom.
Yeah, is that a dent or is that a shadow?
Well, there's an indentation there where your fingers would grab, for grabbing the handle.
No, I guess it is a shadow. Yeah, I see the cop's hand with the radio right there. It's a shadow. I thought it was a dent there for a minute. And if he hit anything on the way out, some of the white paint might have been off his car. I know I'm jumping all around. Hang in there with me, Jeff. You know how this world works.
What are the meds that you're on?
Sabrina says, I think everybody is a little nervous when they get pulled over if they've done something wrong or not. It's just the police presence, I guess.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So
Now, I heard some people say, is this suspicious that he's got his hand between his legs like that? Is he hiding something? And actually, I think it was Daniel from Drunk Turkey Show was saying that would be something that should make a police officer take note and be ready, because you don't know if he's reaching between, under the seat to grab a weapon or something. I'll tell you what, if I'm being pulled over, I'm not going to put my hand like that.
hell no, I'm at 9 and 2, buddy.
Yeah. You officer sees all 10 fingers of mine when I'm being pulled over.
Yeah.
Which hasn't been on it. Well, yeah, I was going to say it hadn't been for a long time. Actually, I got pulled over in my own neighborhood trying to figure out why my auto headlights, my high beams weren't coming on. I thought it might be speed related because I recently got a new truck, and I thought, okay, maybe I have to actually get up to like a certain speed for that to work.
Yeah.
So I'm driving 40 and 25 in my own neighborhood. And I tried to explain that to the officer, and he was like, okay. He's like, I'm going to give you a warning this time. And thankfully, he had a dog that looked like my dog, Nanook, that was in the truck. So once we got talking about the dog, and see, that's the thing. That's the thing I'm looking at this video. I'm like looking for little things like that because I know I consciously was trying to get on the subject of the dog to get off the subject of writing me a ticket. And so, like, when he's saying, he's going to go get Thai food, we're going to get Thai food. Even, I don't know if you can, how the sound is.
I'm just curious if he confessed to the dad if he did it. If dad knows at this point he's done it, or if he's still clueless.
Yeah, there he goes. He says we're going to get some Thai food.
And dad's still talking about WSU. I mean, out of the blue, out of wherever, of everything to talk about, why would you bring that up?
Well, I think from my understanding, he was saying we're feeling a bit punchy. I know maybe the dad was trying to explain why he might have been tailgating and kind of trying to explain why the offense happened here.
Yeah, that makes
He's kind of saying we're feeling a bit punchy. We ended up leaving late out of WSU because they had this big SWAT thing going on there. But let me see, where's he give the license back?
There it is.
All right, so he grabs it with the other hand there. Yeah, but this is a month later, a month and 2 days later. I'm sure anything is healed, right?
Like they don't have a lot of luggage in the back seat right there.
Yeah,
at least what you can see.
You can't really see a whole lot. I think maybe that's a back of a suitcase, maybe.
I just saw somebody run by in the shadow.
You saw?
In the reflections.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? It's this giant hand. Look at this hand. It's as big as the back of the car. 12 gauge. We figured it out. It's got to be this mysterious giant hand.
Hush. We want to keep this to ourselves. We want to be the one to have the breaking news. Hi, Kim. How are you doing? Hello. I wonder if he's left-handed. I've thought that before myself. Wonder what handed he is. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's something worth considering, especially for investigators, if there's anything that indicates whoever did the stabbing, anything that indicates whether they're left or right-handed.
Glad to hear it, Kim. Glad to hear it. Thank you for coming in tonight. Sabrina was waiting on you. And so were we. As he said, we're going to get Thai food. He has a serious look on his face. How come
Yeah,
he
let me go find that. That's right. I think it's right.
He's not talking very much.
Oops.
Let me ask you this question, Jeff. I'm a question asker because I look at human behavior, whether it be in videos, whether it be in live. When I look at somebody and they are giving me that vibe right there, to me, it either tells me they're hiding something, or they're nervous, or they're just uncomfortable in the situation. They're not very sociable. So if you didn't know you were that police officer, this would probably be normal behavior for you because you've seen this all the time. But would his demeanor give you any kind of red flag just to say, man, that guy was weird? That guy was creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's and I don't think it's wrong to try and make a judgment call on somebody's creepiness. I think that's a normal part of what we're doing here. But it makes me think of, like, if you're casting a movie, if you're a casting director for a movie, and you're like, okay, these are our two next possibilities for our movie. The dad, would he play the creepy part, or would the son play the creepy part? And I'm sorry, I would choose the son as the creepy part. Now, I don't know if, unfortunately for Koberger, he's got a bit of he's kind of like it's kind of like if he was a Muppet, he might be like the eagle. He's got that beak.
He definitely stands out. I mean, it's not like you could meet him one time and forget him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got that stare. That stare is just like, you almost want to tell him, like, okay, just take a break, man. Blink. Just go ahead. You can blink. Then we'll continue talking.
Yeah. Because he doesn't seem to blink very often, does he?
And look at this. Check this smile. Look how quick this smile comes and then disappears right at the start. Right there. Boom. There and gone. Very quick smile. Like a...
I gotta act normal. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna smile, but then, okay, now I'm the gears are turning on other stuff. But yeah, it is really hard to tell because of just the way even just normal people that haven't done anything nefarious, how they act.
Kim, you're right. He's odd, but there's a lot of odd folks in the world. I get that every day. Most of the time when people look at me, they think I'm angry. They think I'm pissed off or whatever, but I try to smile a lot more to not give them that impression.
Do you have a case of relaxed bitch face? Is that what you have?
Well, I would not like to call it that, but I don't know what kind of face it is. I was just born with a very serious look, I guess. PKC, welcome. I think I would be thinking you have traveled thousands of miles to eat Thai food. What the hell?
Yeah, that's a weird answer, isn't it? That seems like I don't want to give you any other information that other than just meaningless information. I'm going to get Thai food.
Yeah, just very one-dimensional.
It's kind of like a child would answer. It's like, you've been pulled over. A child doesn't understand like the potential. There's a potential for a ticket. There's a potential for a fine. There's where are you headed? A kid, that's what a kid would say. Oh, we're going to McDonald's. I need a Happy Meal. It's like, and then the way the dad jumps in and then it's like tries to rescue his son. It's like, oh, what my 8-year-old son's answer there mean. Let me tell you where we're headed. We're going to Pennsylvania.
Sit back, idiot. Put your hand between your legs. Sit on your hands. Sabrina says, I cannot imagine that his hands were injured. He was not taking that chance. He still had a job to go to. People would have CM patched up. What is CM patched up? Yeah, I mean, if you're cutting yourself, especially if it's superficial or if it's deep, it takes a while to heal.
What about this part too, where he's rolling up the window for the officer because he can't hear it, but look how he's doing the action of rolling up the window, but he is not taking his eyes off the officer. Is that kind of like, I don't want to miss a thing here. I'm so like, see, windows going up. I mean, I would kind of be looking over at the window. Although I don't know, maybe actually too, maybe Koberger has a difficult time hearing the officer, so maybe that's the reason he's looking now.
Well, yeah, but also, maybe he doesn't want to take his eyes off of him because Dad might say some stupid shit out of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna glare at Dad until Dad gets my,
Yeah, look at that. He does now. I'm not. I don't like to see. You can't judge just based on a still frame, but there's a moment back here where he looks at Dad and I don't know what words are exactly being said at that moment, but let's back up just a little bit. Okay.
See his eyes get wide.
Yeah. There he is. Just like I'm looking for, is there a sense of like, shut up, Dad? You're talking too much, or let's just get out of here.
I mean, my dad's a talker like that, and I have the same look sometimes. Like, hey, come on, let the guy do a job, move around. Because did he not tell the officer that his son was a PhD major and that he was going to school for criminology and this, that, and the other?
Right.
Proud dad moment, right? So he just kept on and on and on. So maybe he was just proud of his son, and his son is nervous, like, let's just get out of here, bro. I'm not used to all this action. Let's go. I'm tired of getting pulled over by cops. Cops always pull me over. What the hell? Because he got pulled over a lot.
Right. Yeah, and well, maybe does it also show his like personality? I mean, I think a nice guy. I probably wouldn't give the officers a hard time, but there's some people that would really be like, I just got pulled over. What is up with you guys? Why are you pulling everybody over? I've been pulled over. I just got pulled over 10 minutes ago. Of course, now then it makes you think like, okay, if you've done something pretty bad, last thing you're doing is going to give the hard cop a hard time. You're going to be the opposite. It's like, you're going to tell the cop, I sure hope there's a third one that's going to pull me over. I love talking to you guys. And
right. Was this the first stop or the second stop?
Good question. I wrote it down somewhere because I always get that mixed up.
Because if this was the second stop, I could see his apprehension and being like, what the fuck? Y'all just.
I think he mentions in one of the stops, in the second stop, he mentions being pulled over.
Yeah, I could see his apprehension. Hey, you just pulled me over 10 miles down the road. What's going on?
Oh, wait, you know what? So that I can keep that full screen, I think I can pull up my notes on my phone.
So this is at 10:42 in the morning, right? 12:15, 2022, 10:42 in the morning.
All right, so here's my note. See, I am somewhat organized. So BK and his dad were pulled over at 10:41 a.m. and 10:50 a.m. So this is the first stop.
Okay, so he's probably a little nervous, But the second stop, he should definitely be kind of like on edge a little bit. Okay, Dad.
Well, he
we're
might
getting
have been, but all we see is the shoes.
right. Dad, we're getting pulled over. Shut the fuck up. Type shit. Excuse my language, guys, but
Yeah.
STFU. But I mean, I can understand his hesitant there if you're in the car with your father. And let's say the dad is telling him, hey, you're tailgating, you need to back off. And he probably told him as he was getting pulled over here, I told you they were going to get you. And now he's having to eat crow because dad was right and he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? That could
Right.
have been too. It's something it's that. Isn't it a little early to be getting Thai food? It's not even lunchtime yet.
Hmm.
Good.
That's a good point. Yeah. Who's
Good
eating
point.
Thai food that early in the
Kim. Why
Dang.
lie?
Super sleuth? Yeah. I didn't even really consider that.
Me neither. I've never thought of that. Let's put
I was so focused early on when I first saw this clip. I was so focused of like trying to make out what he's even saying. I didn't catch that that's what he said was Thai food. It was actually somebody else that I saw. Got that.
Okay, let's see what Sabrina says. Yeah, but they might have left early in the morning and 10 o'clock. This time, it's time for them yet.
Well, here's I was having trouble doing some. I was trying to do some serious math, and I'm not good with this, but trying to figure out based on the times. So they said that they got like slowed down because of the SWAT situation with Kopaka. They didn't mention by name, but the SWAT situation there. So I was trying to figure out if this added up. So 8:37 p.m. on 12/14. Now they're pulled over here. This is 12:15. That's when they get pulled over in Indiana. 8:37 p.m. on the 14th, day before, Pullman police are called about the Kopaka incident. That's 8:37 p.m. Goes from 8:37 p.m. through the night, past midnight. Kopaka is killed at 4:22. Well, this is kind of ironic if you consider the 4:21 a.m. is when the cars heard from Linda Lane. Okay,
focus.
Diversion, squirrel. So that's 12:15. So Kopaka's killed 12:15 at 4:22 a.m. So on the 15th, December 15th. So, and Google Maps estimates it's 36 hours from BK's apartment to the location where they're pulled over here in Indiana. So who's good with math? From if they're being pulled over at 10:45. Wait, when was the first pullover? Yeah, 10:41 they're pulled over. What's 36 hours before 10:40? 24 hours would be 10:40 the previous morning of the 14th. Right?
Yes, and then it'd be 12 more hours, which would be 36, would be at night.
But there's also too. I'm not sure if I calculated in the time difference between Indiana and.
So what you're trying to say is at this time right now, where they're being pulled over, Kopaka's still in the standoff with the cops, right? Or has he already been murdered?
No, he would have been murdered.
Shot. My bad.
He would have been if the time zone didn't change at all, and then it was 10:44 here and 10:44 where Kopaka was. We're talking like 6 hours and 20 minutes earlier.
I think the time doesn't change. It changes from mountain to central. I know in El Paso, so that would be before all the middle states. And Indiana is in that little time zone, and it goes to Eastern time. I think it changes. Probably Tennessee area, that kind of area. So I think they would be in Central Time Zone. So I think if they would be 2 hours behind, so it would be 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning of
the 15th.
previous day, or the 15th.
Yeah, the 15th. So they would be like 2 hours behind, 2 or 3 hours behind.
This is like one of those questions, like there's 2 trains leaving out of St. Louis. You know, I was always terrible at those in
Little
math
Jimmy
class.
just left his house 15 minutes ago. How far is little Jimmy going to have to walk before he encompasses the 2 trains passing in front of his house? Yeah, I believe that individual that we're talking about that was at WSU was probably already deceased.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, could be already deceased, but they were still.
Didn't you say that somebody had been taken out at WSU as they were leaving? They left that morning because there was a lot of cops there because somebody had been there in a standoff. And they left early that morning. And I thought he said the standoff had ended.
Well,
I could be wrong. Y'all help us out in chat.
Yeah, somebody get a pencil out and do some math.
So 36
so
hours.
If Google Maps is saying it's 36 hours, the route that they went, I calculated that they went a southerly route through Colorado. Because if you did it the efficient route that Google Maps would have suggested, it was like around 30, 32. I think they added like 4 to 6 hours extra onto their trip because of the way they went.
Okay, let's see what
that could be weather related that they chose that route. Could be, I don't know why.
Okay, most of Indiana is in Eastern time. Small portions in the north and south is central. Thank you for that. Can you do the math on what Jeff is asking? If you're good at math,
wait. Let's see.
Let's see what Kim says. He probably had a WSU messaging and kind of knew what was going on, or some other kind of messaging. You could be right.
I think it's no. That's John.
Because I thought I remember his dad. That was the first thing he started talking about with the standoff in one of the videos. Either the first stop, the second stop, he said he didn't really point it at the dad. He pointed it at the ground.
Yeah, see, this is where they got pulled over, right over here in Hancock County. But you can see that's, so they've come from all the way over here. They went down through Colorado. License plate reader caught them in Loma, and then ended up over here. So that's 36 hours.
Damn, they were almost home.
Yeah.
They must have not have stopped. They must have drove straight through. Like one of them slept while the other one drove.
So where was the one? Was it the second one where they passed that Henry County sign? I was just curious if we could see that from here.
That would have been awesome.
Oh, look at that! Is that Elantra? I think it is. Wow, Elantras are just everywhere.
Yeah. Look at that. It's an Elantra.
Huh.
That looks like that road, though.
Wait, let me go back to the other. Indiana.
Look at that serious ass look. The case against Brian.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, I personally see a bit of creepiness there.
Okay, Kim has some math. Okay, let's see what she has up here. 24 hours would have been 10:40 a.m. 12 hours earlier would have been 10:40 p.m. I think math is a hard meme. Amen. So if it would have been 10:40 p.m. on the 14th, right? $13th. Are you there, Jeff?
Wait, what are you saying? What's on the 13th?
Kim says 24 hours would have been 10:40 a.m. So is this a.m. right here? So it would have been 10:40 a.m. on the 14th.
No, it's 10. So it's 10:40 a.m. Oh, okay. 10:40 a.m. on the 15th is when they're pulled over. 24 hours earlier would be 10:40 a.m. of the 14th.
No, 12 hours earlier would have been 10:40 p.m. You're right.
But here's the problem that if they left at 10:40 a.m. on the 14th and the police aren't called about the WSU issue until 8:30 the night of the 14th, how did they even
know about it?
They weren't anywhere near it, were they? Or
good point.
We're talking because we're just doing 24 hours because the math is easier, but it's actual 36, which is what? That's another 12 hours.
So
you're talking.
So what day did that standoff start? What night? It was in the middle of the night.
Is 8:37 on the 14th? The police are called, and he's killed at 4:22 on the 15th. So it's basically, it goes from.
Oh, see, they're already in Indiana on the 15th. So it would have been time different.
I don't think I've got any of my times and dates incorrect. I think it's because I'm going off of news stories that show.
Well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They were punchy, so maybe they got their times a little bit.
Now, are they saying they? I mean, because I was under the impression they were saying they basically almost like there was a traffic jam, right? Around the area, they couldn't get on the road when they wanted to because they were kind of stuck in the traffic with all the police activity. But or are they just saying we just came from WSU and we just heard about this big thing on the radio, kind of a deal?
That could have been it also.
What is he? It's hard to make out. Let's see.
Does this one have sound?
Yeah. Can you hear this?
No.
Oh, the sound's not coming through?
No.
Wait, let me try and reshare it. I think I might have to turn on the little button. Body cam. All right. I think the sound is up. Are you getting sound?
What's WSU?
Yes.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh,
we're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're standing early.
What's WSU?
University, basically. That is watching.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh,
we're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
We're driving. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where? Interesting.
Well, it's horrifying. He's supposed to be university, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there?
Actually,
Oh,
PhD.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident just yesterday, or?
No, this happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago. We're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shooters, but they did.
Did he say it just happened? So that would make more sense if he said it just happened.
PKC says if SWAT was 4:22 a.m., it would have been 7:22 a.m. Eastern, a little over 3 hours later if they were pulled over. Then she says if the 911 call was made around 8:30 p.m., there's probably a WSU alert sent to everyone about 9 to 10 p.m. Brian probably got that alert and maybe another alert when it was over. That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. He would have gotten alerts on his phone.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're trying to.
Good thing he didn't have his phone turned off. He would not have seen that.
Maybe Dad has the same app on his phone. Who knows?
But yeah, let me see. I hadn't heard that before. Where I think he said when the cops asking him about the SWAT incidents, he said it just happened.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident just yesterday, or?
No, this happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago. We're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shooters, but they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then you don't know about that actually.
Well, interesting. Wow. Okay.
I've really got to see if I can do something with the audio on that and clean it up. I think I started going down that road, but didn't quite finish.
Hey, while I'm thinking about this really quick, you know how we're talking about, alerts and everything? If he wasn't officially fired yet, he would probably still be on the list for alerts. You're very right.
Mm.
What if his parents had Life 360 on Brian? You know what that is?
What is that?
It's an app that you can install on your phone. Like if you have kids and they install it on their phone, it is a tracking app and it tracks the movement of your kid's phone. So, I mean, wouldn't that be ironic if he had that on his phone and he was tracked on
Is it the kind of thing too, which that like it's not the type of things picks up your pulse? Maybe it would have to be hooked up to your Apple Watch.
This is an app, and once you install it on your phone, you can't take it off. So if your phone is stolen, they can't like remove it to keep it from being tracked. They can turn the location off, but it's still tracking the Life 360. It's a map that shows where your phone is going or whoever on your Life 360. Yeah. And Snapchat has a way to ping too, I found out today. Let's see what can PKC, what's your name? If you don't mind me asking, what name you want me to call you? Want me to call you PKC? I don't mind, whatever you prefer. The Secret Witness. Paula. Okay, Paula. I'm cool with that. So what are you talking about as far as the Secret Witness? Jeff, are you cleaning up the video? Is that what you're doing?
Could you hear that?
Yeah.
What if did it come through clear?
No, I heard it like an echo, like
okay.
Like you're doing it on another computer or something?
Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, I'm double checking right now, but I think I can share my screen of my Adobe Premiere app, but not the sound. And of course, this would be perfect for the sound. Let me try unsharing that.
That would, yes, you're right, Paula. The app, if he had that app on his phone, because a lot of parents have their kids put that app on their phone when they're young. And if he's had that phone for a while, or, maybe he had his sisters on there, or maybe he was on his sisters or whatever, even if they turn it off, like my little nephew turns his off, but I can still see his location. I can't track where he's at as far as how he got there, but I can see his location where he ends up. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it doesn't look like.
You guys in the chat, what would y'all have said to the police officer? Let me see how your brain works. What would y'all have said when he asked you where were you going? If you were going to tell the officer you were going to go get some food, what would you have told him at 10:42 in the morning? Yes, find my friend who does the same thing. Yes. What would y'all have said? The officer asked you. So
what do you say? Where you headed? I think.
Where you headed? Where you headed? What would y'all have said? Come on, Paula. Come on, Kim. Come on, Sabrina. What would y'all have said? 10:42 in the morning.
Because like if you're guilty of something this awful, and the officer's asking you where you headed, it wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if you said something like east, you know. So okay, you go a little. How much further away is the nervousness saying just something like east to we're going to get Thai food, to the dad answering actually as a normal human being like we're headed towards to Pennsylvania. We come from WSU. That conversation just makes total sense. But yeah, we're going to get Thai food.
Kim says McDonald's, potty, and okay coffee. Okay.
I gotta find a bush.
Paula says, if I'd been traveling that long and caught for speeding, tailgating, I probably would have said I got to get to a bathroom. Excellent answers. I mean, neither one of you would have said Thai food. I don't think Thai food would have like registered in my head. And here's another question: is Thai food vegan?
Maybe so. Maybe there are.
No. He's vegan.
Well, there are vegan Thai recipes. It looks like here,
but they don't serve like Thai hamburgers and stuff like that, right?
How about, do vegans eat Thai? Let's see. Thai cooking ranks among the world's most delicious vegan-friendly cuisines. All right, so it checks out. All right, Brian, you didn't do it. Let him go.
Okay, Paula says probably the same as Greek. Possible vegan options.
Vegan. You're going to Las Vegas? Do some gambling?
I told you, man. Have mercy on me tonight. I'm reading like some of the creators I watch. They might fry the Thai food with a almost said work. They might fry the Thai food with a wok that previously had a chicken in it. Oh, God almighty.
Yeah, having the ability to read is not required to be a YouTuber, right?
Oh, man. I hope they tune in just for the laughter. I mean, I hope tomorrow is Palm Sunday. Be good. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, if he was going to eat Thai food, how does he eat in restaurants if he's not certain that, does he request, hey, can you get me a brand new pan to cook in? Because, I'm not sure that you contaminated beef and chicken or fish and chicken.
Right. Yeah, that was who was it that said that? Was it someone in his family's aunt or something?
Yes, there was an article written on that. Do you believe that he really took it that far, or do you think that's exaggerated?
It's hard to tell because I don't think I thought I heard that, it's not like him and the aunt were super close or anything. So And, you know, I mean, surely none of us have family members that just would love to like, what? He's in trouble? Yeah, let me share some stuff on him that I'd be happy to help you with that. So
She's the one that said she wouldn't be shocked if he was guilty, right?
yeah, there was something that came out, yeah, after the whole thing about the getting new pots and pans and stuff. That was
Okay.
the first thing I had heard, but then yeah, then I believe it was the same aunt that had said something else.
Paula says a former aunt, I believe she was no longer married to his uncle.
Yeah, yeah, because you know, people like, you know, if that's like the family that you've been divorced out of, it's like, yeah, some people might have a notion that they want to just like,
Let
yes,
me tell you
I'll talk about them. I got stuff to share.
Let me give you the tea. Let me give you the
They
tea.
always thought they were so much better than us. Now they're in trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, let me tell you about that kid Brian.
Yeah.
That piece of work right there.
Did what other stuff did you want to see about the Elantra? I was just looking to see what
I guess very quickly I wanted to go over the Linda Lane one where you have the Elantra superimposed in front of the Linda Lane garage looking area. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know something I did not too long ago. I should have it right here. Where is when I was doing a comparison of the sound of the engine of the 5 times that this car. I think this is it.
Hey, before we go any further,
Yeah.
do you still have the dog barking?
Oh yeah.
Hey, people in chat, we wanna grant you with what the dog would have potentially been sounding like barking. I know that a lot of people have never really done this before, and I don't know if it's silly to even do, but Jeff found a dog with
Keep it going. 12 gauge.
with the same
One more time.
uh,
I know I have it.
with um the same attributes as Murphy. We're not saying it's Murphy, but it's the same brand or same breed, same brand. What the hell? Same breed of animal.
Yeah, I think it's a Chevy. It's a Chevy
Yeah,
dog.
the same breed, the same breed of animal. Um,
Yeah,
and we were discussing one night between him and I how this dog barked. That's how into it we get sometimes. Is we're talking about how the dog was barking, how it exhaled, how long it took for him to bark, inhale again. So if you remember correctly, around 417, right? I believe the PCS is 417 or 421, one in that area. They heard a thud, dog barking, and then supposedly the car sped off, and you know the rest. So Jeff found this dog clip, and we looked at it, and we were amazed by this dog because you know you can be told dog barks this way, dog bark that way. I don't know what kind of dogs you have. And if you've listened to any of my streams, you've heard that annoying little dog yapping. It's nothing like that. Okay.
And here comes the field goal unit. Field goal here is beautiful. Decision. And I think he was just trying to let a little bit of the play clock run down. Kicking team.
Yeah, so that's what I believe is is it called a golden labradoodle?
Yes.
Something like that. The file name I don't think is right. It just says barking dog golden doodle. But maybe that's it. Maybe let me see. Maybe golden doodle is actually correct.
So I guess the question that we were wondering as well.
It is a golden doodle. All one word.
and we wanted to share with you guys. Do you want to play it again one more time before I go into it?
And here comes the field goal unit. Took a while to make that decision. But field goal here is beautiful.
It's like no photos. It's private property. You don't have the right to videotape me.
Okay, so granted, he's not growling at, he did growl, but could you really hear that dog barking the distance from the house to Linda Lane? And that's what Jeff and I were talking about that night. I don't quite remember what our consensus was, whether we were in unison on that or whether we weren't. Do you remember, Jeff, if we were in unison, if you would have been able to hear that or not?
Yeah, I can't remember. What we decided on that, but I know it's 100. I measured it's 107 yards. Actually, wait. Let's do this on Google Earth. Since measuring like that, I've got that down.
So while he's doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about that dog. If you noticed, the dog had a distinctive bark. He just didn't sit there and yap. He cleared his throat almost to get a big old fresh air pocket to be able to bark out. I'm no veterinarian, so I'm slaughtering this to death, I'm sure, but no pun intended. So that dog, if he would have been barking like that all night long, don't you think you would have heard him? Because do you think that he would have stopped? Do you think he would have been crying? Do you think he would have, had moments where, he knew his owner was hurt or injured? That situation. Kim says, I wonder if Murphy was mixed with a standard poodle or mini poodle. He looked pretty big. I think he was mixed with a standard poodle. I don't know about that. I don't have a clue. But that one that's in that video right there is pretty good size. It looked about the size of Murphy, but it doesn't sound. I mean, if Dylan heard what sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog, he must have been big enough to make enough noise. Maybe he had nails running across the wooden floor. You could hear him. Well, that's a poor example, but a scratching sound. Oh, 12 gauge.
Sound effects by 12 gauge.
A scratching sound, going across the wooden floor. Maybe a bouncing up and down. Maybe, I don't know. The more I think about this, the more when Kaylee's mom said they probably knew the person who did this. Well, just think if the dog knew the person and he was, playing with that person and he was trying to, get the person's attention. Have you ever had a dog that knows you and it jumping up and down and running around and you're trying to get it to calm down and it still wants to play? Would this dog have known Brian? Just a question. Kim, my mini poo would scratch at the door. Yes, I believe so too. I mean, I believe that all night long, or all morning long, that dog wouldn't have been able to leave that room. See, that's where I'm confused, and maybe you can help me, Jeff. Did the dog get out? Because I've heard that that its owner had to go pick him up at the pound, and that's what he did first, and then he went to the house. He didn't go to the house first.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I've heard a lot of theories and things, and a lot of people say things, but as far as I know, the dog was not like, out. I mean, I speculated sometimes in the beginning, like I was thinking like, okay, if you consider here's here's where Jack D lived, and here's the house, and they're trying to call Jack, multiple times on the phone. He's not answering. Was there a possibility that they took the dog and they, either, I don't know if there's a way to cut through. I think there is. I know they know the people over in this house because there's photos of them like right here on this front porch with this in the background.
Yeah, there's a little trail right here that's like a fence with a little gate.
So before I didn't really think about how the killer would have known the door was unlocked, I was thinking maybe it was left unlocked because they took the dog and had, to go out for a walk to relieve himself. Did they possibly at the same time say, well, let's let the dog relieve himself, but let's go see if Jack's light's on, something of that to that effect. And then when they came back to or is it possible the killer snuck in while they were taking the dog out? But, I don't know. That was all kind of early speculation.
Right. I think the dog was taken to the shelter as soon as they entered the house to clear the scene. I think they released the dog to Jack after he was questioned. Okay. I couldn't remember, Paula. I mean, after a while, you hear so much stuff, it all blends together. I don't know if it does to you guys, but I know it starts to blend together with me. It's hard to really differentiate between fact and fiction. And Kim says, Paula, this makes a lot of sense. It really does. I think that's what I've heard also. So they rescued the dog and then they took it to the pound, and then Jack went and got the dog and then came to the house after he was questioned.
Yeah, I know there were pictures of Jack with the dog, I think over at his parents' house, because I know there was a time when we were looking at Google Maps like very closely, and we found where that photo was taken of Jack's parents' house with the dog and everything. And then we just kind of went cruising down the street, and you only have to go down the street like not that far, and then that's where the school was where Jack D's mom and dad worked. And then it was kind of weird because there was a white Elantra parked right outside the school on the curb with a guy sitting in the car with his face blurred out. And so for a while there, that was we were speculating about that. Like, could this be the Elantra they're looking for? It's like, not too far from, actually, let me see if that I have that might be in this Google Earth project, because I did have a wait. Oh, I started something.
You sleep well, Sabrina. Thank you for being in the chat once again and for your participation. It's well appreciated. Happy Palm Sunday to you as well.
Yes, thank you, Sabrina. 12 Gauge's biggest fan. Sabrina will be there when you're up to 100,000 subs. It's like, yeah, but Sabrina was there in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm gonna make her a wrench holder watch.
Okay, yeah, here you go. I do have this Hyundai marked. So let me see if I can remember this.
I remember that. I remember speculation about that Hyundai.
So, okay, yeah. So let me get rid of this. Here's, Jack's parents' house. So we were looking at photographs of the dog with Jack, and one of the things we noticed in the photos of Jack with the dog is like this little pickup truck. We could see this Toyota. Let me see if did I add? No, I didn't add pictures of of that. But so that's how we knew it was right there. And then just straight down the road, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 3.5 blocks is the school where they worked, and there's this white Elantra, right? Wait, it's over on this street over here, right over here. And this is a, let me see if I get this right now. I'm getting it mixed up. When they're wide apart, that's a 14 to 16.
Yeah, because
right? Coburgers were far apart.
Yeah, because it's far apart. Does it have a little indentation above them? Can you zoom in?
Oh, I passed. What the heck did I do? Did I pass it?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is.
I hate where Google takes you back in time.
Yeah, it's got the little
2013 now. Yeah, it does.
How come I went so far back? Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's right. It's a different photo. I see. Different year or different time. But I thought that we could see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, we could see that there was a driver that was blurred. I don't remember the license plate being blurred with like pixels like that though before.
Hey,
they've taken out the shot where you could see the driver. See, because I took a photo of it.
Really?
Right there. See, that's what it used to. Wait, this is what it used to look like. You used to be able to see the guy there, but now if you go on Google Earth, it's not there. See, it's just, yeah, they took it out for just that one, just the one spot. Nope, you can't see it. You go past it. You go past it 2 clicks. Okay, we'll let you see it.
Right.
We'll let you see it from a distance, but you're not going to see it for 2 clicks up close. Now it's back.
That is crazy.
The incredible vanishing. You know that's got to be because it's related to this case.
Of course.
Yeah, because I mean, you can see back when I took this snapshot, it was there. You could see it back then.
So what did the guy look like?
He's blurred. I mean, you can't really see him. As they blurred out the face and they blurred out the license plate. That license plate, I mean, I don't know my license plates that well, but I mean, it looks like it's red on the top and blue on the bottom. Is that like, I think Ohio is similar to that.
Wonder if the guy was receiving death threats. Hey, Jeff, do you remember when they did like when I first started looking at this case, Crime Circus was going up to Jack D's house, and there was a white car in the driveway, and they were trying to say that was an Elantra, and then they were saying that one of the Jacks had a white Elantra that they used to speed through town in, and that they were caught at one point speeding through town in a white Elantra. This was very early on. I mean, this is when all the Jack stuff was going around.
I don't remember that. It's funny because it almost seems like everybody, it's like the 7 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon. Like you don't have to go too far to find somebody that you know that has a white Elantra, right, or an Elantra.
It is Idaho, Paula says. I mean,
maybe you go to Idaho and you find out like the guy that works at the Elantra dealer is like the most amazing car salesman on the planet.
He's giving out bonuses for every Elantra he sells. You get $500 back. I mean, I swear, I don't even look for Elantras, but now I see a white car and I'm just like instantly drawn to it. And it's like, is that an Elantra? Is that an Accord? Is that a Prius?
Right.
You know, and Hyundai must be like the college kid special. You know what I mean?
Oh, here we go. Wait, how do I? Here, I found the photos of the of Jack D at the house there. Actually, I think if I do it this way, then I can quickly switch between the map and the photos.
Me neither, Paula. I used to hear of the Elantra. but not the Elantra. I really, I never had a clue that that car existed. Did you send that to me, Jeff?
Yeah, it's in one of the backstage. Yeah, so this was one of the pictures we were looking at with Jack and the dog, and we were see the house in the background with the white. We were looking on Google Earth, so we were trying to match up where that shot was taken. And so let me go back this way. Actually, now it's a lot easier because they blurred the house. It makes it a little easier to figure out, yes, we were looking at the right house. But I think the camera was facing, if I remember right, it was facing this direction. And let me see if I can line it up. I think you had a little bit of this tree and then this building in the background with the fence there.
Okay, so his house is blurred out now? His parents' house?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like this is
yeah,
gotta be this one. I thought there were more than just this one photo. How come it's only one? Let me see if there's
Did you want me to put this back up?
My dog looks down at me every time we play that.
And here comes the field goal kick to make that decision. But field goal here is beautiful. It's always a decision, and I think he was just trying to let a little bit of the play clock run down. His kicking team.
Well, it'll be interesting though when if they, like in court, if they play the audio from the light bulb camera, if the sound of the dog barking is a match to that dog.
I believe on the text messages that were released between a creator and one of the parents, he said in one of his texts that the first thing you start hearing is the dog barking, and they start the whole thing and you hear the dog barking. That's what you hear first.
Part of me was wondering too if that light bulb camera, and I'm so tempted to buy the one on Amazon that I think is the same, but it's so hard to tell because there's a lot of them that look the same. But I don't know if they're triggered to start recording with sound as well as something moving in the picture in the front of the lens, or if it's just visual.
Supposedly a cat was taking a piss, if that's the camera that they're talking about.
Right.
I did a whole video on the other cam, so who knows? Supposedly the cat was taking a piss. It triggered the camera to come on, and at that moment, the dog started barking. But what if the dog wasn't barking until we heard the cat run off? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be skeptical here. I'm just saying that. But they say you hear a thud, you hear the dog bark. Could the thud have scared the cat? The dog start to bark.
The hip bone connected to the leg bone.
Damn it, Jeff.
Oh, it's all connected.
And at the end is Kevin Bacon, right? With the little pointer.
We got. Wait, how do I? There we go.
Just crazy going back and discussing all this stuff.
Yeah,
doesn't it just seem as fresh as it did the first time?
Where did it all start for you? Because I know with me, it was, I think Gabby Petito case was the first one where it's like, okay, now I'm very interested in this true crime stuff. Because I don't think I was much into anything before that. And then this happened, and then,
Well, I've always heard bits and pieces. I started with the Chris Watts, the Watts murders. Is that the one where he murdered his wife and the two little kids? Is that one?
Yeah. We put him in those silos with his.
Yeah, I started with that one, and then I wasn't really into true crime that much. I mean, I'd watch ID channel and stuff like that, but as far as on here on YouTube. I never followed it. And then Gabby Petito was the one that was going cross country, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Kim says, what if the dog was barking as soon as he heard an intruder? Dylan yelled up, shut the F up, about the dog barking, not about the scuffle. Very good point. John Bonet, Elizabeth Smart, Kaylee Anthony. Wow, those were some big ones.
Mm.
I remember John Bonet a little bit, but not much. I mean, I couldn't put the pieces together. I wasn't really interested. But the Gabby Petito, I remember bits and pieces. And then the real part that I started watching was when they were talking about the conspiracy of him being under the backyard in a bunker or something. Was that true?
Oh, right. Oh, the Brian Laundrie. They
Yeah.
were saying he was in the garden underneath
Yeah,
like she was thought she was slipping him food.
Yeah,
And,
his mom was feeding him. Yeah.
Like, yeah, here's a Snickers bar, and you're gonna be there a while, you know.
I mean, and then I found out that he eliminated himself, you know, in the desert, right?
Okay, that red and blue, that's just on that other car. That's the color of the Idaho license plates.
Yeah, I was thinking it wasn't true, but I was, you know, I was still paying attention long enough to hear all that craziness. Let's see what Paula says. I didn't start watching YouTube true crime until IDAHO4. There was zero local coverage. I went to Facebook groups, and most of them referred to YouTube videos. Been there ever since. Kim says, I think he passed in the swamp. You're right.
You know, I had a speculative theory about that because you know how Brian Laundrie's parents found him so quickly? Like all these professional search parties had been looking for him for what? Was it weeks? And then they decided to open up the park to the public. I guess the water had subsided. The parents went in there and found him right away. There was like part of me wondering, it's like, what if like dad offed him because he was, you know, of what he had done, and that's how he knew where he was out there, and I don't know. It was just a theory. It just seems so strange. I mean, even if, although, I mean, as secretive as they seem to be, they didn't seem to be offering up any assistance to try and help find Gabby. Maybe they wouldn't have offered up any assistance, even though they knew, like, I'm pretty sure I know where Brian went. Should we tell the authorities that are searching for him for weeks and spending all this money and effort and putting all these law enforcement in danger around all these alligators and all this stuff out there? No, we'll just wait till they let us go in there, and we'll go right to the spot. And
so where did they find Gabby at?
They found her like, well, from where the vehicle was seen by the Bethune, you know, recreational vehicle camera that happened to catch it parked there. I think it was like, I don't know, like 500 yards out away from the car. It was out in a spot. You know, actually, that was one of the first true crime videos I did on my channel, was trying to stabilize that that footage, which I think is oh man, I might have taken it off, or maybe it's just not listed on the playlists. Wait, if I do it by oldest. Yeah, here we go.
I only found YouTube from Reddit. These earlier cases I followed web sleuth, but the format is cumbersome. I was a lurker, never posted.
Yeah, see, so this was Gabby's.
Well, we're glad you're here. Post away.
So this was Gabby's white van that was captured by the. I took it an image stabilized it so it wasn't as shaky. Now, unfortunately,
he was on an ATV, right? And the van was buried or like covered up with sticks and stuff.
No, it was just parked there. It was just parked right here, but it was a recreational vehicle. The guy had turned his GoPro camera on and forgot to turn it off.
Oh, okay.
It just happened to be recording, And when they heard about I guess the the missing Gabby Petito, they just went and looked at their footage and they saw this. But what was interesting about this is a lot of people at the time were saying you can see the door closing. But when I stabilized it and looked at it myself, I thought I can actually see somebody not just closing the door, but somebody going in, like right there. Boom. You see that somebody has just gone in and then they close the door.
Oh, you're right.
So see, boom. See, there's a little bit of a roundedness to somebody's body going into the back door.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice that until I, stabilized it, got rid of all the shakiness.
That's
and
true.
then I think too, I did a second one where I think you can see this one.
That is true, Jeff. I never noticed that before. There it is.
Yeah, this one was just focusing on the person going in the door, not
what the hell is that flying in front of the camera? A butterfly or what?
No, it's yeah, it's a cougar.
I do see that. I'm not, I'm not trying to take attention from that, but I do see that. So
yeah, that was one of the first videos I ever did.
Did they figure out what that was
regarding true crime? And look at I'm still blown away. But look at this, 23,000 views off of this first one I showed you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like, that blew my mind. And this was, of course, before then. I had no idea you could make money off of YouTube, and so I was like not taking advantage of I wasn't even going in that direction. I probably had 100 subscribers at this time.
That's pretty cool though, right there.
I actually did get my very first check from YouTube. Not a check, but it was deposited in my account just 3 days ago. Very first dollar, like in a restaurant, they put their first dollar you made. So yeah, so I got a nice little deposit of $140. And my wife wasn't impressed. It's like, you've been doing this for how long? For over a year? You mean, $140. What's your husband make? Oh, he makes $140 a year. 140,000? No, $140.
Kim says, I like certain subreddits, Tudor History and Ghost BBC. I don't know what those other two are, but I've been on Reddit. That's kind of how I got into this as well, is 4chan, when they were talking about the 4chan post, because I was like, once they started talking about the 4chan post and, about, some of the information they were leaking, it got me hooked. And I just was looking at stuff every day. I was trying to decipher things, but I was keeping it mostly to myself. I mean, I wasn't going around speculating, and I wasn't getting in chats and sharing my thoughts, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't certain, Yeah, Paula, 4chan is not for the meek at heart. It's really not. It's pretty brutal. And I'm almost convinced that's where serial killers hang out to talk. But once I got into the IDAHO4, it's like the whole world was already attached to it. And I didn't really, I really didn't think I could really get on here and give something that other people already haven't given. But as you can see, we're able to break down things in a different way. Kim says, yeah, I saw some pictures on 4chan that I wish I could unsee. I'm shocked honestly, I'm shocked that there hasn't been any leaked pictures on 4chan of any of this.
Right. Yeah, I've never been on there. But yeah, you would think if that's a place you can pretty much see just about anything you could imagine, you'd think it, yeah. This is a little animation that I just roughed in. I was just trying to do something quick, but I should return to this and try and,
Yeah.
you know, we could do some visual demonstrations of like maybe some things we're thinking about. One of the things I was thinking about doing is taking the sound where you hear the car taking off at a high rate of speed at 421,
Yeah.
and then try and match a visual of like a car like this to the path that we think that we're hearing with our ears, and just see if it makes sense. Because like when I listen to the car take off, I pretty much can imagine, I imagine the car was parked like right here. Can you see my cursor? Is it spinning around in a circle?
No.
No. Wait, let me see if I go. Okay, so
Okay, I see it
so
now.
like, I imagine like the car parked like where this tree is, that this whole side of the house has no windows. So it seems like it would be smart to park around here where nobody's going to look out the window and see your car. So if you could park like right here, and then the sounds that I listen to are the car, I imagine, taking off, losing control on this turn a little bit, and possibly, maybe sliding out, maybe, was in danger of hitting this curb over here. And then this is where they were measuring tire tracks. So I don't know if the tire tracks that they were measuring would have been from coming down this way and almost losing control and skidding, or if they lost a little control. It's like, oh my gosh, that was close. I do not want to be wrecking. I just did an awful thing. And then they slammed on the gas to head out of here. And that's what caused the skid marks. But
Hey, let me back you up there for a minute, Jeff. Last night I did a stream. I did a live on this little area right here that you're talking about. That's why I'm glad you brought up the image of it. I was theorizing last night about the DoorDash driver arriving at 4 in the PCA. It says approximately 4 a.m. Okay, so this car is doing a 405 pass. So that means that the DoorDash driver would have arrived in this area in between 358 and probably 401. So if this car was doing a 405 pass, that would have meant that the DoorDash driver could have possibly still been in front of the 1122 house when this white Elantra or whatever car it is makes this first pass. But he turns around and comes back down in front of Queen and back through here. How would this Elantra, let's just say Elantra, how would the Elantra and the DoorDash driver had room enough to not pass each other with the tight time frame? You get
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of people talk about the DoorDash driver coming back to this back parking lot here. I don't see that happening at all. The house is here. It's got a huge front driveway. I see the DoorDash driver coming in, making this turn, and going right here, and never going back here. So what I imagine, this car we're calling an Elantra, it goes past here at 405, probably sees the DoorDash driver either maybe just pulling in, or maybe he's just gotten out of the car to deliver the food. He does a U-turn and comes back this way, maybe wants to get a second look at it. Who knows, does another U-turn, and then on the 407 pass, he's driving much faster than all the other 4 passes. So maybe there's something about what he saw with the DoorDash driver that said, yes, this is the time that I'm going in. Like if we look at this other video I've got that shows all 5.
Well, the reason I was saying that is because that street is full of other cars parked alongside of it. So it's a very narrow turn, to turn your car around. But I just saw what you did. You turned it around in the driveway of 1122. You didn't turn on King Road and do a 3-point turn and then back in front of the Queen, or back heading toward the other King Road. I see.
Right.
But I mean, my whole thing is they had to see each other, either leaving or coming. And there was speculation, and I also said this last night, there was speculation that the DoorDash driver lived 1,200 yards from Koberger's apartment, and that the DoorDash driver's wife was creeped out by Koberger, that the DoorDash driver was the one that gave the information on the white Elantra and Koberger. I don't know how much truth that is. I don't know if it's been debunked.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the article. There was like an article where the headline was like, "I lived 1,200 feet from Koberger" or something.
Yes,
That
yeah.
was the
And that his wife was so creeped out.
Well, it wasn't the DoorDash driver though, was it? It was the rideshare driver, wasn't it? The guy who gave a ride to Kaylee and Maddie.
I was under the impression there was the DoorDash driver. I don't know. I could be wrong. Kim says, how would the Elantra driver know that the DoorDash driver wasn't a partier who would stay for a few minutes with people awake? Very good point.
Yeah, now if he drove when he drove by, so the times he drove by here, there's 3:30, 3:39, 3:56. Now if the DoorDash driver got there well, no, it's probably because it wouldn't have said approximately 4 if it's before 4. So if he's on back of Linda Lane or in front of this Linda Lane camera at 4:05 and a half, maybe when he drove by, maybe he saw the person, car headlights are still on, the person's got out of the car and is carrying food to the door. Maybe it's just visually clear that this person is delivering food and not somebody who's is staying there. Like maybe leaving their headlights on while the car, leave the car running maybe.
Right.
That happens a lot. I've seen a lot of stories where these people getting their cars stolen that are DoorDash or Uber Eats delivers. They leave their car on, they deliver the food, they turn around, their cars, somebody's jumped in their car and taken off.
You just solved it. You just solved the crime. You just solved the damn crime.
But I think there was another YouTuber that was analyzing sounds, and they thought they were perceiving the sound of maybe like the lock sound of the DoorDash driver, that kind of thing. Yeah. I'm not sure. I really, some of those sounds, it's really just tough to tell from a distance.
Yeah.
Because there's some sounds that, that they were saying was the car door lock sound or the little horn beep. But then when I listen to it, it sounds a lot like my microwave when I push the buttons. Yeah. And I know the Linda Lane camera sits right on top of the laundry room. And I thought, well, that could sound like the buttons you press on a washer or dryer too. But then it doesn't make sense because there's like 1 or 2 beeps. And then if it's truly come from the laundry room, wouldn't you then you would hear a washing machine or a dryer, you'd hear the noises that follow. So I mean, it's probably more likely that it actually was like somebody locking their vehicle.
Yeah, Paula says as dark as it is in the front, I bet the DD left the lights on. You're probably correct on both of that. I mean, wouldn't that have been some shit though if all the college kids around there, they would have stole the DD drivers? Or because he did mention, I mean, I have seen somewhere where the reason he didn't park in the driveway was because kids had thrown stuff at his car.
I hadn't heard that.
I watch a lot of YouTube. I read a lot of things. I need to start saving the stuff so when I present it, I can look it up as receipts instead of just hearsay.
What was that comedian said? Oh, look here, we got ourselves a reader. It's like it was a real redneck town. It's like, oh.
But seriously, I did hear that. I did hear that early on somewhere where they're talking about the DoorDash driver not parking in the driveway because previously he had driven up there. Kids were throwing beer cans at his car, beer bottles. He was scared they were going to rob him. So he parked in front of the 1122. Didn't we hear a horn honking, or was that the police car?
Yeah, well, I think it was.
Isn't there 2 horns that honk?
I think it was Mob Crew. I think I was watching a video that he did where he was analyzing the horn sounds. He was estimating, yeah, because he was estimating like there was a first horn sound and then a second. And what his I think speculation was that the DoorDash driver may have delivered the food to the back door, and that would figure out, that would time wise, that would, you hear them lock the door, it would take that X amount of time to get to the back door and then get back to the car, and then you'd hear another sound of the car being unlocked. Which now that you said that, if you heard stories of the DoorDash driver having issues with people messing with his vehicle, because I was thinking, was like, why are you going to lock your car if you're just getting out to put some food down and get back in?
There was a story where he supposedly they talked to him, and that's one of the things that he said. He said that he didn't pull up in the driveway because people would be throwing stuff at his vehicle, and he didn't want to be vandalized, this, that, and the other. And
did you ever see this one? This was
I was gonna watch that today, actually, because I saw the ear and that kind of got my attention.
This was where you can hear, I've got the sound on now, you can hear what I believe are the same car horn honks on the Linda Lane footage and on the Banfield camera. And you can see that the 254.22, 254.22. But actually, if you really measure real closely, the two timestamps are only off by less than a second. Here's with the sound.
Yeah, that little beeping sound sounds like my truck. You ever heard a Toyota beeping when you open it?
Yeah, but you can hear like the cadence is and the tone is exactly the same. It's
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the only way that I can really hear it with headphones on, but I've heard it before, and it's true.
Yeah.
What about the church bells that they always talk about? Have you actually heard those?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I noticed is that at the top of the hour, the church bell is 2 minutes, like almost exactly 2 minutes off. And at the bottom of the hour, like say at 2:30, 3:30, it rings again, but it's 1 minute and 39 seconds off. So it's say 3:30, it's not going to ring, but at 3:31:39, you'll hear it.
Okay.
So yeah, I was looking into that, and I actually called the guy named Mark that works in security at the University of Idaho, and he told me that he would go out at lunch and he'd listen to see if the clock, the University of Idaho clock, was still 2 minutes off, and then call me back, but he just never did. But he seemed very interested in it at the time. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll check this out for you," and I guess but maybe I don't know, maybe it's worth another phone call. But I mean, it's been quite a while now. It's possible they've fixed them since then. But it seemed to be consistent. So 2 minutes off at the top of the hour and 1 minute 39 off at the bottom of the hour. See, it's like I remember stuff like this, but like important stuff in my life, I can't remember.
I remember also, I think I was watching Dago maybe, and they were talking about the camera, the Linda Lane camera being 2 minutes off or 2 minutes fast. And that's something else being.
Well, but see, this proves that it's synchronized with the body cam time. So if the Linda Lane camera is 2 minutes off, just by coincidence, the police body cam is off by 2 minutes as well. I seem to lean towards the fact that they're both the same and they're not of the same entity. That they're, or they're set by like the internet, like the clock on the internet. Like,
get behind me, Satan! Get behind me, Satan.
Did you ever see this video about the Linda Lane camera? Oops.
No, you have a lot of new ones that I haven't checked out. I was glancing through your page when I went and got that other one, and I saw a lot of these. I was like, man, I need to check that out. The last one I think I watched was the K-bar one that you had.
Yeah. Check this one out. This one's really short. It's just another. It's 2 minutes. But this is about the Linda Lane. The Linda Lane.
Go ahead and play it right quick. How we've gone almost 3 hours. What's another 2 minutes? See, I don't remember him going up there. You can't hear it. Do they have sound?
Sorry, did you say did it have sound? Are you hearing sound?
I hear you now. I didn't hear any sound.
Oh, wasn't no sound was coming through?
No.
Let me see. Oh, maybe I've got to let me reshare this. Hold on.
I might keep this dog.
Okay, let me see. Do you hear sound now? Wait, let me mute my mic and tell me if you.
Yes.
So maybe you're like me and are wondering about the camera that captured this footage at 1330 Linda Lane. I did a little research and I believe that this camera is made by Reolink. Not sure if this is the exact same model, but it sure looks the same to me. One thing I noticed with this footage is that the font and format of the date and time appears to be the same with the Reolink. Another observation of this Linda Lane footage, at least in the 1227 to 1229 clip that was released, there's a moment where the camera goes into color mode. Maybe you were like me and thought it was the Wizard of Oz, but no, it's simply a setting in the camera. You can set it to go manually color, or you can have it set to automatically go color when the light level is bright enough. I imagine that when the vehicle did its U-turn, the headlights brought the light level up enough for the camera to go into daylight mode or color mode. I've heard some talk about the Wi-Fi going down on November 13th. I was curious how this would affect the camera's recording. So I asked the question of this YouTuber, Home Tech DIY. Here's his response. He says the camera is hardwired to the NVR, or network video recorder, and it records footage independently of the Wi-Fi and internet connectivity. There's also a micro SD card inside the camera. So short of losing power, I imagine this camera is always watching. Please take a moment to subscribe to Home Tech DIY and also JLR Investigates. This is Jeff H. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Thanks for commenting, and thanks for clicking like on the videos.
Very impressive.
That's back when JLR had 67. What was it? 67,000 subscribers. He's now over 100,000, right?
I don't know.
So
that was really good, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you. What about the now the only other video I really did that where I actually like scripted it out a little bit was the difference mode.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
You saw that one? Yeah, this one I think is interesting because to me, because it's something that this friend of mine, Matt, taught me. He taught me about difference mode. A difference mode is found in Photoshop, and it's also found in Adobe Premiere. But we used to use this for line. You can take video image for lining up video clips. I know what we do. Of course we would edit our videos with a low resolution watermarked video clip that we haven't paid for yet, right? From one of these stock footage places. So you edit with that, and then the spot gets approved, and then you got to go and buy the shots and put the actual images in. And then so you want to make sure that you position them in exactly the same spot. So when you put them over top of each other, use difference mode, and if they're exactly over top of each other perfectly, it just they cancel each other out. You end up with a black screen. That's how you know it's like lined up perfectly. So it's basically the same idea with this. So, but this little video, just like what is the first minute of this explains what difference mode is.
So in Adobe Premiere Pro, there's a cool thing called blend mode. You can find this also in Photoshop and also After Effects. The blend mode I'm going to show you here is called difference mode. Here's how it works. If you take a still picture of a scene and then combine it with the moving picture of the scene, and you put the still picture set to difference mode, when you overlay them, anything that's moving or different between the two images is clearly visible, as you can see. Here's another example using a parking garage. You can see that when combined in difference mode, the only thing you see is the moving cars. I thought it would be interesting to apply this blend mode to the Linda Lane footage, making it a little easier to see the moment anything moves in the frame. Here we go.
Yeah, so that was the idea, and then like I think it works pretty well in some situations. Like there's a cat that's seen. Let me see if I think I marked.
Yeah,
I started a project of marking like all the interesting stuff and didn't quite finish that, but yeah, here we go. It's a cat. You can see the cat at the upper right.
Yeah.
I thought I heard some people saying they thought that might be Ian and Harsh's cat, but I don't know if that's true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and what's cool too, so that's 322 that the cat runs off. Let me see if my memory is correct. I think the what's the garbage dumpster? What time was this? Let's see. No, that's 314. I'm thinking of something else, I guess.
Yeah. We're getting way out there. Let's kind of reel it back.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about a car, weren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's kind of reel it back.
Oh, but later, check this out. This is a guitar solo that I did. Me getting my 70s rock guitar on. Okay, and last question, then I'll promise I'll get back on topic. Did you ever watch that show, Rockford Files?
Yes.
Okay. See, there's coming up here. There's a little part that I know, without knowing I was doing it, I ripped off from Rockford Files. Here it comes up right here. So, anyway, I know that's Rockford Files. It's got to be. It's just all right. What we were talking about the car.
So, I guess we'll start up another time with the Elantra, because we're going on 3 hours right now, and I'm kind of getting tired. So, what do you?
Oh wait, you want to end? You want to end real quick? This is the thing I forgot I pulled up. The sound of the Elantra, the sound of the car that goes by 5 times.
Yes, go ahead and do that.
This one's real short, but this is a good one too to put up here because people can play it back for themselves later and just see if they feel they hear the same car engine sound. Because if it's the same car engine sound, then it's good chance it's the same car. Okay, I have to share this one. Where is it? Where is it? What's it called?
You know what? That's going to be my spirit dog right there.
You're going to put that on loop and go to sleep to the dog barking?
Anytime somebody says something, once we get people in chat a lot more, they don't say something.
Speak up, son. Speak up. All right, I'm going to mute my mic so you can hear it really, really well. I mean, what's your initial thought? I mean, when I hear it, even right now, I haven't heard it in a while. It sounds like the same engine to me.
Yes, it does. And I've heard other people say that it was a manual transmission. Can't remember by chance what creator I heard that off of. But I don't think it's
Illuminati, I think, is where I first heard that going around.
I don't think it's a manual transmission. I think it's an automatic, and it's revving up as it's going up the hill a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there is an incline right there, a little incline, and that's where it revs up. That's where you hear most of the engine sound.
Right.
It does sound like the same one. What do y'all think, guys? In the chat, are y'all still here? Hello?
Yeah, White Lion says sounds the same.
Okay, sounds the same to her.
Let's do it one more time, just so maybe mute your mic too, just so that you, for playback, you get as clean a sound as possible. I'll mute mine too. And so even the backing up engine seems to, sound. Now, I mean, I know it's not completely conclusive, but if it was 5 different cars, I would expect to hear at least one of them sounding a little different, just some kind of difference. And this is interesting too. This is when I looked through all the footage from 1 a.m. to 4:20. There's only basically 7. Wait, is that right?
Yeah, you said 7 the other day. 7.
Yeah, there was. What did I'm reading, trying to make sense of what I wrote here. The only other cars seen in motion include these 2 cars that sound different than. Yeah, so I mean, from 1 a.m. to 4:20. Actually, a better way to have said this was that there's 7 vehicles in motion seen. 5 of them are what is believed to be the Elantra that you just saw. Those 5 passes. The other two, there's one that comes from the left side of the screen and goes to the right to go around the building, in the same fashion when he did the U-turn. And then the only other car that is seen in motion comes around the building the same way that these cars do, but then it parks right at the end of that fence. It's front end parks to the fence. This one other thing here that I'd put on the end of this, I'm sorry, I forgot I did this. These are the other 2 vehicles that are seen. I actually put the video of them in this video. These are the other 2 that are seen. Different sounding engines too, I think. This is one that just parks. And then, I'm sorry, this is the last part of this video. This is just a trunk sound comparison. So for quite a while now, I've been convinced that at 4:21:01 a.m., that's the sound of a car trunk closing. And just for grins, that when I was over at my friend's house, he happens to have a white 2016 Elantra. That's the car you see there. I asked him, I said, would you mind if he didn't? He's like, what are you talking about? Will you close my trunk? Yeah, just humor me. Just close the trunk. I'm going to stand way back here. I'm just curious. And I had no idea if it was going to sound at all similar. Again, this isn't very scientific either, but it sounds the same, right? I mean, it's the same, got the same tonal quality. Like you hit a drum that's really big, it's going to go boom, and you get a small drum and it's going to go boom. It's much higher. It sounds like a drip drop boom, boom, like the little clown in the little boom.
You should have got the tape measure out, measured the appropriate distance.
Oh, for where I was standing to the.
Yeah.
Well, see, I mean, the real way to do it is to have recorded it. Here, let me turn my camera on, even though I think I look horrible tonight. Is to take this Reolink camera and record the trunk sound from 100 yards away with the actual camera. Although I'm not positive that I got the exact right one. This was a 520A. I emailed Kane Francetic, the landlord of 1330. He emailed me back and said that he thought his camera there was a 522A. This was a 520. So I mean, they're very similar. They look like exactly the same. Yeah. And
Kim's correct. It's a lot more scientific than other channels present. Most of them don't really do scientific experimentation. Did you ever watch that show, Mythbusters?
I think yeah.
That's an interesting show if you've never watched it. They do stuff like this. There's all kinds of myths that people present, and they go and try to debunk them, I guess. But that was an awesome video. I believe the trunk sounded the same. I mean, regardless of the distance, like you said, the percussion part of it, the deepness of it, you're gonna hear that before you hear the lighter sounds.
Yeah, let me listen one more time, because I mean, it's the tonal quality. Here it is. Yeah, see, I mean, it's
the first one.
Possible that sedans of that size could all sound that way, though. But considering what we're looking at, here's the thing too that was very interesting to me is that trunk sound, that slamming trunk or closing trunk, is at 4:21:01 a.m. on the Linda Lane footage. 18 seconds later, exactly 18 seconds later, you hear the car taking off like a bat out of hell out of that area. Yeah. So, when you're asking yourself, well, you could say, oh, they're completely unrelated. I mean, they're 18 seconds apart. And if you've just put something in your trunk, you just closed it, 18 seconds is about the time because when I first heard that, I thought, oh, I think I hear the car door slamming. And then I thought, wait, why would you sit there for 18 seconds after doing something like this? And then I thought, wait a minute, that's not a car door closing. That's the trunk closing. That makes more sense. You closed the trunk, you went around. And now people might ask, well, why don't you hear the car door slam? It's like, well, the car door is going to be facing, I think, the murder house, away from the... Yeah. And two, you're not going to, if you just realize, crap, what did I do? Why did I slam my trunk? I'm trying to be quiet out here. I would imagine you don't do the same thing with the door. So, but the taking off out of there. Do you want to hear that? Is the last thing and then wrap it up, because I have that 421.
Paula says a lot may depend on what is in the trunk at the time. Empty could echo more than full. Did your friend have a kill kit in his trunk? Apartment, Jeff. LOL. Right. I love it.
He did. Yeah, let's look. I think I'm going to tell him too. Next time I see him, I say, you know what? The YouTube community has concluded that you got junk in the trunk.
And Kim says 18 seconds to take off your coveralls and shoe covers. I mean,
all the stuff would happen before it. You've just put the bloody stuff in the trunk. You've slammed it shut, and then now you're getting out of there.
I think what people don't understand as well is where the location the car was. You did that earlier when you were diagramming that video with the white Elantra, where it parked at the very tip of the tree line. So that
Right.
would have been closer to the Linda Lane camera without obstruction than had he parked alongside where those other cars were parked. There would have been a lot more obstruction. You wouldn't have heard it as clearly. But he was up above the tree line, so that would have been heard clearer, like you said, than anywhere else. Go ahead and play that, Jeff, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. You want
want
to switch? You want to switch over to the map view?
Okay.
Yeah. So the Linda Lane camera is right here. I think it's. Let's see. There's the laundry room, and then the stairs. So it's right about here. It's not. I wouldn't say it's in the middle of this little roof line here, but it's probably a little bit off to the right. So Linda Lane camera with the microphone is right there, and it's if you kind of go straight shot, nothing to really block the sound too much. And then I say if he's parked right here, somebody parked right there at the back of the house. If they were to slam a trunk, it would be, pretty straight shot to that microphone
Exactly.
from here to there. And remember, this is an overhang of, it's a parking carport, so it's overhang, but it's kind of open air to this over here.
Plus, there was, I mean, anytime you've seen other photographs or any kind of videos, there are vehicles back here, but hardly any of them park along this side of the tree line. So if he parked right here along this tree line, I know you probably can't see my mouse pointer, but where that blue car is,
Right here.
parked right there, like you're saying, that would have been a straight shot, unobstructed, because this car obviously drives back there without any problems. If there was a lot of vehicles back there, it would have had a longer wait to get through all the vehicles to get back out to the other street.
Well, you can see my initial thought when I made this animation was I thought, let's see, here he comes through. You can see where I was speculating where he parked.
Yeah.
To the left of that blue car, but I think he stayed on the street right here so that he's just a straight shot out of the neighborhood. Unless here's the only other thought I thought. If he parked, say, where the blue truck is there possibility that because he didn't know the inside of the house very well, if he parked his vehicle there and left the headlights on, shining through the window, although that seems to like it would just light up everything too much. But if he had done something like that, he could go in through the sliding glass door. All he's got to do is he knows where he's trying to get to is one floor up. So he doesn't need to know the inside of the house except the first set of stairs that are going up. That's where I go. And then you find the stairs right after the kitchen. You go up the stairs. Now the next thing you're looking for is the bedroom with the headlights coming through the window. And you're in the place that you were stalking from outside. If that's what happened, I assumed, my assumption has been that all it would have taken was for him to, at some point, be back there, see Maddie through the window, and then he's chosen somebody to ruminate about and somebody that or he's decided to do this awful deed, or I don't know. I guess all I'm saying is that he took notice through the window. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think it would be that hard to find your way to the bedroom, not knowing the inside of the house.
Well, I've never heard that theory, but it does hold water. I'll give you that much. I've never heard that before, and it does hold water.
Because I mean, because
would illuminate everything in the backyard, through the slider into the home. They'd bounce off. You could see the stairs. You could see into the living room. Hell, Dylan probably saw the headlights. You know what I mean?
I mean, it could have been, if you see light coming through the window as well. Say Maddie's passed out, and unfortunately she's having what's done to her. And then Kaylee comes from across the hall and sees like light in the hallway and from the bedroom that usually isn't there, perceives it's from some car behind the house and says there's somebody here. Maybe it could have been something like that even.
I mean, they could have mistaken it for the DoorDash driver, or maybe somebody driving through I mean, how many headlights shine through the house that other cars that drive back behind Queen Road Apartments? You know, how many cars shine light through their home on a, and I'm piggybacking off your theory. You know,
Right.
how many cars have actually driven down King Road right there next to the house, rounded that corner right there with their lights on, high beam, low beam, whatever. I'm sure they don't have any blinds, they don't have any curtains,
Well,
so
they do. There is a photo of Maddie's window with the pink boots in the window with blinds. So they do. Did they always use them? Who
right,
knows? But I see what you're saying though. They might, with a parking lot back right behind your house that is with the cars at the same level as your window.
yeah,
I mean, I used to have a patio apartment that was facing the parking lot, and yeah, we'd have headlights coming into our room. Now, when I'm in a situation like that, I turn my headlights off to just be kind to the people that I know live there right in front of me. But that maybe it's something they were kind of used to having happen.
yeah.
But
And maybe that's why they weren't as, surprised if that did happen. Tim says, why in the world wouldn't he have cut the lights off while he was driving through Linda Lane drive-through? That's a good question.
yeah, well, kind of makes you wonder though, if you saw a car driving around through there with no headlights, because I mean, did he think farther ahead to, like, after he's done this and he's gone, are they going to be looking at cameras and looking? So if you see a car with headlights off, that's probably going to catch your eye of law enforcement right away as you're looking at all these cameras. But if it's just headlights, I mean, look at us today. Depending on which YouTuber you ask about this footage right now with this car with its headlights on and just driving through the parking lot. Some say it's a Chrysler 300. Some say it's a Ford Fusion the police were in. Some say it's an Elantra. So, yeah, I mean, part of me wonders if he didn't have this alibi that I was just driving around, like, ready to go from even before the crime happened. Like, it seemed like it would fit right in with the nature of those research questions. How did you pick your victim? How did you feel as it was happening? What did you do right after? How did you feel right after? Would one of those questions be to himself? Would it be, if I'm arrested, what's the first thing I'm going to say? Was it rehearsed and planned and ready to go to say, was anybody else arrested? Things like that. I mean, if you're going to rehearse everything, I would imagine, which I think is how his DNA got on the button snap of the knife sheath, rehearsing at home, but kind of forgot you don't want to be rehearsing something like this barehanded. Get your stuff under the button snap, and then when the crime actually happens, the button snap, I think I would imagine he probably wiped down the knife sheath, cleaned it to make sure he didn't have any of himself in any fashion on it, but kind of forgot that button snap is like a Tupperware bowl, and it preserved what's inside it, even to, like, the wiping down, maybe even with a chemical.
Or he could have had some of his DNA on something that he bought. He didn't realize that it floated through the air and landed on a damn knife sheath. I mean, it was a visible trace DNA. It wasn't, the other. But you're on one tonight, Jeff. You're on one tonight because what you just said just a while ago, before I cut you off, I'm sorry about that.
That's cool. That's cool.
What you just said is him rehearsing. Where are you guys headed? Going to get Thai food. What were you doing? Riding around, driving around. Instantaneous responses. Practice where you don't have to think about them. You've done them. You've said them so many times in your brain. It's just reactive. Was anybody else arrested? Do you think he had that one at the spur of the moment if he really did say that? Or do you think he's thought of that one to try to be clever? When he was arrested, anybody else arrested?
There was somebody I thought I heard say that BTK, when he was arrested, said those words. Was there anybody else arrested? That's what I heard somebody say, but I have Googled and searched, and I have found nothing that says the moment that maybe I need to actually look at, what's her name, Catherine Ramsland's book, about the BTK killer and see if there's anything about that. Because if that's true, that the BTK killer said those words, Catherine Ramsland wrote the book about it, mentions it, and Brian Koberger studied under Catherine Ramsland, it just makes you scratch your head and wonder a little bit. Is all these doings just,
part of the game?
Is it like an original composition that he's come up with, or is he borrowing from other, I don't want to call them artists, but these other killers? Because like my other theory too is that Ted Bundy apparently went into the sorority and tried to take the lives of 4 girls in that sorority. That's another similarity too, right? Now, only 2 of them died, but the methodology he used when he went in there, and I'm sure it wasn't like thought of it as he was walking in. I'm sure he thought of it, but prior to, which is why I think also in this case, this killer thought of it prior to. But Ted Bundy went in there with a piece of wood, knocked the victim out unconscious first, and then strangled them with a stocking. We can't seem to figure out why the 2 surviving roommates didn't hear much in this case. Now, if you know what a K-bar knife feels like in your hand, and the butt end of that knife is very much a hammer. It's no different than a little hammer you get over at Home Depot. Marines are trained to use the hammer end, the butt end of the knife, as a weapon, as well as for hammering nails and for putting their tents up. It's a tool. It's a dual purpose tool. But if it's possible that he went in there, the thing he's thinking the whole time is, there's a lot of people in here. I can't have any of them screaming and yelling for help. So if you can knock them unconscious first, do the Ted Bundy method. And when you knock them unconscious first, now you can face them any direction you want as you use the sharp end of the knife and control where all the red stuff goes. So it doesn't get on you. It just goes into the mattress or away from you. If their back is facing you, you've rolled them over so their back is facing you, and now you're using the sharp end on the other side. You're not getting anything on you. You're getting a lot on the knife maybe, but you wipe that off on whatever and then just move on. But and that theory, I think, can apply and can work for all 4 victims. If it happened where I think Maddie was probably passed out, so she was probably, unfortunately for Maddie, the first target, and very easy to just knock her in the head unconscious, do what he did. But I think as he was doing it, I don't know if it was the sound, the smell of him, the smell of a stranger that maybe alerted Murphy, the smell of blood that alerted Murphy. Alerting Murphy, Murphy wakes up, all the commotion wakes up Kaylee. I think also wakes up probably Dylan, the dog barking and whatever. Kaylee's coming across the hall, and I think the killer is taken off guard or caught off guard and startled by, here's Kaylee now. She probably hears her coming across the hall saying, I think there's somebody here. And his method, remember, is to knock them unconscious first, like Ted Bundy did. That way you have a quiet, very quiet murder. And if Kaylee's coming in the room, surely Kaylee's going to come in the room seeing somebody attacking her friend. Now, maybe she came in and didn't see the knife and thought he was just it was an SA kind of situation, not a killing situation. So surely she's raised by Steve Gonsalves. I imagine the offspring of Steve Gonsalves is going to take action and going to be that alpha and come on in there and try and save her friend. And maybe she didn't see the knife until it was too late. And I heard too that her face was very damaged. Now, maybe imagine again, the K-bar knife is a hammer to the face multiple times will surely do some damage to your face, and also knock you unconscious and probably make you fall onto the bed. And but I'm sorry, I cut you off, 12 gauge.
You're right. You're right on everything you just said. We've discussed that before, and it's been very, very plausible that did happen. Because otherwise the time frame would have been longer, I think.
Well, and then the other two victims, with the last part of my theory is that now I imagine him going downstairs. If the timing was that now they've got DoorDash, they're about to eat. If Dylan is anything like my wife and we've just gotten food delivery, the first thing my wife's going to say is, Jeff, you go in there, wash your hands. It's like, oh, okay, yes, dear. So part of me imagines, Ethan in the bathroom. Maybe he's washing his hands. They've been drinking. They were at a party. Maybe he's got to relieve himself as well. So if he's in the bathroom doing that, and Xana, we know has done a TikTok. She did a TikTok at 3:45 a.m. that said the word queen. She did another one at 4:12 a.m. that said, never forget the foundation in the bathtub. That was her other comment she posted to a friend's page. If she's kind of preoccupied with TikTok and maybe has her back to the door, the footsteps of the killer coming up behind her into the bedroom, she probably thinks is Ethan coming from the bathroom. And if he's still, again, using the same method, that knife bopping them in the head, and if she's sitting on the bed and thinks it's Ethan coming into the bedroom, hits her on the head, she falls down. Apparently a thud was heard right from the camera 50 feet from her window. If she falls to the ground and is knocked out or unconscious, but maybe the killer hears, I don't know, toilet flush, maybe realizes, kind of like, I know I'm a Pulp Fiction fan, so I picture like John Travolta coming out of the bathroom to find Bruce Willis in the kitchen there.
Right.
That's maybe that's where I got the idea. But so he hears the toilet flush, knows that Ethan is about to join them in the room there, and so he doesn't want to be seen. If you look at the 3D model video where you can look around in the bedrooms, there's plenty of room for him to tuck himself in that corner where there's a closet there. Exactly. And Ethan can come right into that room, see Xana like on the floor. Maybe he doesn't realize she's been hit in the head by a potential killer, but she's passed out or like, is tripped and fallen. Maybe they were drinking, so what does he do? He says what any good boyfriend would do. It's okay, I'm going to help you. And maybe that's what Dylan heard, from across from her room. He comes down, bends down to help her, and then his back is to the killer who's just tucked in the corner with, again, back to the hammer. He's got a hammer to the head. Now Ethan's knocked out. He's got total control over both of those victims. He can just finish them off whatever way he wants. Because they're, if Xana wasn't knocked unconscious from the first attack, surely right after that, it wouldn't take too much. But so that's how I believe all four could be unalived quietly, with a lot of control for where all the red stuff goes. And it also just makes sense with, hearing Kaylee say, there's somebody here, hearing Ethan say, it's okay, I'm going to help you. And then the only other thing to stop and think of is like, okay, what was up with Dylan and Bethany? Because personally, I really think they did not know that death happened in this house. I think that they just thought it was noise. Maybe since Ethan had been staying there, there's been a lot of more guys there at night that the roommates didn't really appreciate, that wasn't that much of an issue when it was just the girls. So maybe Dylan assumes this guy walks by. She's in frozen shock phase, which could very well just mean she's like, I can't believe he just walked by me like I was completely invisible. It's like I was a ghost, like he didn't even see me. It was weird, just weirded me out. It's probably another one of Ethan's friends. But then goes to sleep for 8 hours. And wait, I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say that the last point was I forgot it. But I think I know what I was going to say. So from Dylan's perspective, now Dylan wants to get some sleep and she's irritated. She's been woken up multiple times, I think, by her loud roommates that she thinks, and the dog barking and all this stuff. So if she's doing an inventory of where things are currently after she sees the guy walk out, she's thinking to herself, probably, I thought I heard some whimpering and maybe like crying from Xana, but I think that sounded like maybe it could have been Ethan saying, it's okay, I'm going to help you. That's a relationship thing she doesn't need to get involved with, right? What are you going to do? Go over there and, this couple, maybe they were fighting, maybe who knows what's going on, but it sounds like it's resolved, It's okay, I'm going to help you is a comforting thing. That situation's over. They seem quiet now. And then upstairs, it's like, okay, that seems quiet too. I think I go back to sleep, and you just go to sleep. And I don't think Bethany heard much of anything. She was on the floor directly under Dylan. So that's my theory anyway. This is a theory that's stuck around at least the longest. It hasn't fluctuated, and my ears are open. I love to hear other people's theories, but this is the one that seems to be like, if they were to ask me in court what I think happened.
Well, that's a plausible theory. I've never really heard all of it. We've discussed bits and pieces, but never really heard all of it. I'm all on board for that one. I'm still working mine out. I don't know exactly what direction I want to take it. I've changed it so many times. But let's focus on Paula right now. She said, okay, rabbit hole theory. What if X was doing a selfie dancing around video for TikTok and recorded him coming up behind her? That's a scary thought. Man. That's a scary thought. Video saved but not sent. Could be why TikTok was mentioned in the PCA. Man,
you should make movies. That'd be a scene out of a movie, wouldn't it?
Holy shit.
Well, here's the thing on TikTok that I know and believe. I had a friend of mine that taught me how to use this website called Unfurl, and you can take the website information from a TikTok page, because if you look closely, and I'm pretty sure it's consistent on all TikTok pages, it shows the posts, the comments, but it doesn't show the exact time that comments are posted.
Right.
But you can use this Unfurl website to calculate based on the information. You go into the HTML code for the TikTok page, and you drop it in there, and it tells you the times that these posts happened. That's why I say that I know that, or at least I've used this program to calculate. Xana texted or commented with the word queen on one TikTok page at 3:45 a.m. and then at 4:12 a.m. Commented, "Never forget the foundation in the bathtub." And my understanding from the friend, and I don't know if they know this for sure, if this was just speculation on their part, but the person that Xana was the page they were commenting on, I believe, is an old friend from like grade school. So what I believe Xana is referring to is, who knows, maybe like a sleepover or something when they were in grade school and they were kids, and they probably were in the bathroom. The mother of one of them had, foundation, the big jar of powder foundation, and they knocked it over into the bathtub. And so I think what she's referring to is, it's kind of like saying, you remember when we were kids and we knocked mom's foundation into the bathtub? What a mess that was. Oh, you got in so much trouble. So that's what I believe that's referring to. And it's important too, if that's all true and it's legit, that also says that anybody that would have unalived Xana and then tried to TikTok comment something in her name as she's already gone, it would beg that they would have known about this, that they would have known about the so thing is, I guess if it's true, what I'm trying to say is that it's got that, you can kind of check it out, like it's either Xana, because it sounds like a little story or situation between two people that only they really are familiar with, and somebody that was just a killer coming in wouldn't know about. Right. I mean, what's the chances if it's Brian, he's driving around his Elantra and he's like, I've got to text something into her and is going to take the time to text something into the TikTok account. No, I think you're thinking more about getting behind the wheel and getting the heck out of there. And being that you studied criminology and you are well aware of the things that get criminals caught, like their DNA, I'm sure your goal at this point, your goal going in was knock them out, keep them quiet, unalive them cleanly, and get out of there. But when on the way out, the goal is get everything in this plastic, either bag or tarp or shower curtain, or plastic bin in your trunk. All the red stuff goes in there, and then get in your car and try to take nothing into the passenger compartment of the car, and then have everybody be marveled at your criminology knowledge and education and how you kept that car so immaculately clean inside. And of course, too, what somebody else was pointing out is 7 weeks. He had 7 weeks to clean that car. People can, and that's what they were saying too. That was the point they were making. Oh, people can believe that these girls like had something to do with this crime in the house, and they had 8 hours to clean up. Koberger has 7 weeks to clean a car.
Right.
So, I mean,
but people can't fathom that. They can't fathom that. They can fathom 8 hours, but they can't fathom 7 weeks.
Right.
Kim says, does anyone know about the Be Real, the camera that takes the picture in front and behind at the same time? You might be onto something, Paula. I've never heard of that, but I'm pretty sure with technology these days, there's a lot of apps and there's a lot of things that we can do while we're playing with our camera that is probably being recorded, tracked.
Oh, you mean like on an iPhone where you got the front camera and the back camera, and it takes both?
Yeah.
I don't think the iPhone can do that, but I can, I can imagine that's easy to, not too hard to do, because like when I hook up my phone to my truck, and I've got the, it's hooked up to the GPS, and I'm watching the GPS app on my truck dashboard from my iPhone. If I'm looking at my phone and then I see something I want to take a snapshot of, when I hit the, the left and right sides of the phone and I squeeze them together to take a snapshot, if I'm hooked up to the truck, I get 2 pictures. I get the picture I just took a snapshot on my phone, and at the same time, it grabs a snapshot picture of what is on my truck screen. At first, I didn't know what the heck that was. I was looking at all these pictures, like, where are these secondary pictures coming from? It's like, oh, it's because I was hooked up to the truck.
Well, if she somehow saw him behind her, that's the scariest last moment I could ever think of, is seeing somebody that's about to take you out.
Oh, most definitely.
I mean, that is worst nightmares type stuff right there.
But I think, we'd say, never mind. If she had a Be Real moment, then all friends group would know about the intruder. Would know about it because of her photo, or would know because she would have been alerted and would have screamed and yelled. Wow, is it really 2:15 in the morning already?
Well, I'm about to start in this next semester of my criminal justice stuff. We're going to start diagramming serial killers and stuff like that.
Do you ever think that there'd be a possibility that if it is truly is Koberger, if he thought that he could get away with something like this, end up teaching, like Catherine Ramsland? I mean, isn't it like there's a TV show series with a guy who's Dexter. Yeah, so kind of a Dexter situation. So now he's in front of he's in a college classroom, and he's teaching about this unsolved IDAHO4 mystery. And yeah, how bizarre would that be?
The whole world is on Idaho right now. Y'all are on the map. If it was just for potatoes before, it was now for a lot of different things. Jeff, what you just said, it makes a lot of sense. But Dexter was doing it out of moral obligation to be the good guy, to take out the bad guys. You know what I mean? He had a purpose. Now that guy, have you ever seen the series on Netflix called You?
Called You? No. Yeah. YOU?
Yes. If you get a chance to see that on Netflix, check it out. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but it's kind of the same concept as what we're talking about. But this is more crimes of passion. So if you have Netflix, check it out.
Yeah, no, I do. I'll check that out.
There's 3 seasons. It starts out kind of slow, but it gets better, and it just keeps you hooked, because you just can't look away from all the weirdness that is going on. And the thing about a lot of these serial killers that I've learned through my studies is they try to be normal. You know, they have that chameleon effect. They try to be normal because that's how they get away with their crimes, by being a chameleon where nobody has the inkling that they have that double life, so to speak.
Right.
Look at Israel Keys. He had a family. He had kill kits all over the country, was traveling all over, robbing banks, all that stuff. And nobody was the wiser, until he got caught up by, that case, right, Jeff? Israel Keys.
I've heard that name, but I'm not that familiar with the details of the case.
Look that one up too. That's a good one to look at. But you were comparing Koberger to a lot of different modalities as far as his, this is what he might have picked up from this person. You're right on that. I've always thought Koberger's biggest fan was the Gainesville Ripper. Him and the Gainesville Ripper have a lot in common.
There's a YouTuber that I know I've seen in many lives that would bring the Gainesville Killer up. I think they lived near them or weren't that far away from where it all happened.
Yeah. It was in Florida. I think that panel that we were on before.
Yeah. Oh, it must be
yeah, he talked about it.
The one oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Every time we see each other, we say it'd be great if we were neighbors. Wow, where's my brain? All right, don't bite. I'll think of it. Get off my leg. Why is your dog humping my leg?
I love it, bro. I love it. Man, that really quickly, and then I'm going to kind of sign off. I appreciate you guys that have hung in there and chat this long. I wonder if a dog like that's really, if it's aggressive or if it's really protective. If the aggression comes out, if the owner is being hurt or yells out in pain, which most dogs are protective, but not many are aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dog, if I hug my wife, he jumps up like on his he's on only on his back legs, and he's got his paws up. He gets real concerned. So he's very protective. I could see I would imagine too, if the dog was in the room, right? So the dog, I don't think would have seen Kaylee getting attacked, I think, but
yeah,
just to hear it, I'm sure the dog was very concerned. And I know, my dog, you can tell when he's smelling the ground, like he started smelling the ground and I could tell he was following some sort of a path. It's like, what are you sniffing? And he goes around, he makes a left and he makes a right. And then he goes over behind my bike. Big old turtle is right there. It's like, did you smell the path of that? And turtles move slow. So how long was that turtle smell from dragging its shell along the ground or feet on the ground? It's like, and you picked up the path of this and the smell of it, because it's clear. It wasn't like he's just smelling the area. He's like, wait, it turned left here, turned right here. And then boom, there it is right behind my bike. But would a dog smell like blood in the air? I'm certain the dog would. And I'm certain the dog would be very concerned about that smell. That smell is something that I'm sure a dog would have an understanding that this is not right. It shouldn't smell this way.
Kim says, yes, poodles are very smart and protective, not so much aggressive. Okay. So thank you guys so much for hanging in there in the chat with us. Really enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time when we discuss some other things. Hopefully Jeff will be available to do that as well. I really enjoy him being on panel.
I'll make myself available.
Jeff, is there anything you want to say to the people in chat before we sign off?
Yeah, no, thanks for hanging in and thanks for being with us. I apologize. I try to keep a closer eye on the chat, but I think my brain, I'm just in thought mode and just because this kind of thing, when we start, especially when we start talking about the car and how the crime was done, I mean, my mind just starts turning on, it's firing on all cylinders trying to, because if this makes sense, then that makes sense. And if this doesn't make sense, wait, now I got to go back and I got to rethink this first thought, so, how to look at it so that all the puzzle pieces fit. But it's great to have, people that like you guys that are coming to 12 Gauges lives and participating and just hanging out with us even to the wee hours of the night.
Yes.
There's so many other things you could have been doing, and it's very appreciative. And just like, I play guitar and with a band, and I tell you what, when we just have one person come down to watch band practice, it's great. It's a great feeling to know you got somebody that is supportive like that. It's like just hanging there, sticking it out, and it's like interested in what you're doing, and but the participation too, and the questions you guys are asking, and things that are this. I'm gonna be looking into this front back camera too. So thanks for that. Another thing to Google.
Well, you tell your friends and you tell people that are like-minded like you guys that like to hear information and things broken down. We might be a little long-winded, but we get to the point eventually. Bring them over. Tell them to subscribe. Hit the like button if they like what we're presenting. Most of the time I'm by myself, but sometimes I'm lucky enough to catch Jeff when he's not too busy, and we get up here and we kind of go back and forth. And I believe we're a great team when we're up here. So thank you very much. And Maestro, cue the music.